Okay. All right, everybody. Welcome back to We Are Aquarius. I am Frank, and that is Brad. I did it right. Yes. I don't know if you saw the same thing,
No, no, you didn't
but
actually.
looked like I'm
Oh,
pointing the other
you
way.
maybe you did it. Yeah, you did it right, obviously.
Here,
But for me,
high five.
it was wrong. I have to go over here, but
There.
that's actually the wrong side for me. I guess I'm the only one who has to actually be confused
Yes.
because it's on your, yeah.
You must be
Makes
confused.
sense.
After all
Easily confused.
Easily confused. Not to be mistaken with extremely confused, but easily confused is still a part of it,
Probably
as
both at this
as we
point.
all
I
know.
gotta come back to my. Oh man, look at this one. It's so the world is so manipulating. You see things. The clickbait, there's a word for it. But it's like you see things and so enticed. A little down the rabbit hole you go. Like
Hmm.
it's the way it is. But we wanted
Yeah,
to talk about Roe v. Wade since everybody's talking about it. We got to weigh in our two
I
cents, I guess.
know, man. I know. It's that's a
I don't want to
thing.
see that right
That's a thing. Well,
now.
it's strange. Like they want you to get into the. I think the fact is what they said in the past. I can't remember if it was 1984 or it was the book or some other person, Orson Welles or something
Probably.
like that. They said that in the future they're going to try to get everybody so politically involved that you can't do almost anything throughout the day without being politically connected to something. Which it kind of looks like we're getting to that point. Which is like I would rather just relax, but they kind of bring this stuff
Well,
along, and then what can you do?
and for kids, it's not political. It's just quick, short videos. Quick and fast. Watch the next thing. Next thing has nothing to do with the last thing. Move on to the next thing. What are we talking about? Who knows? And then when you get into reality, you
Mm-hmm.
can't deal with how slow the grass grows. How, peaceful everything is. It's
Yeah,
hard. It's hard to deal with it. That's why, even back in like the 70s and 60s, like we're going camping for the week because you had to get away from it all for a little bit.
yeah.
And before
I'd
that,
love to do that
you
now too. I wish I had a family here to do that. I mean, sometimes I get the chance, but that's something you do need to do. You need to disconnect
yeah.
from
Well, tomorrow
everything
I'm going
for.
for a long hike. I mean, not a long, long hike, but
Oh,
because
cheers, dude. Good job.
I got an almost 2-year-old. 7-year-old's gonna walk, but tomorrow, I think we're gonna do the real one.
Got one of
I'll
those little
bring the actual.
backpacks you can put them on, and then they get to sit there and
Yeah,
pat on your head and just get
I
to
want
watch
him
the
to learn to
scenery.
walk. I mean, he can walk fine, but he's lazy. He just he doesn't want to walk.
Kids get that
You
way.
know?
I was kind of like that with my dad. I kind of wanted him to pick me up, but then, you know, looking back now, he was a really skinny guy. I mean, he wasn't very strong with lifting and stuff. And he had bad feet, bad back, and all kinds of stuff with that. So,
I remember the day I realized
but
I could beat my dad in a real fight. But nowadays
doesn't
I
it
mean,
kind
we're
of
getting
like make you a little
getting off
disappointed
topic.
sometimes? With some of these things, you feel like you could beat your dad or beat your parent at this thing, and you're just like, I've peaked. That I'm peaking over their performance with that thing, right? And now what? You know,
And I'm 12.
and I'm still a kid when I could do. And I think that's the thing that happens to kids too. And
Well, times have changed. I mean, that's the reality of it. Things have all changed for
mhm.
everyone and everything. I
Yeah, and
mean,
especially with
adult,
this Roe v. Wade thing, it's just everybody's getting involved. And the fact is, like what I
right?
said
Everybody's
before,
involved.
like what I said before, like what I said last time, most people, and you get this with the media always telling you like everybody's on left or they're on the right. That's not true. That's absolutely not true. Most people are in the dead center. They sway a little left, they sway a little right. Most people don't care. It doesn't affect me. It's not affecting my wallet. Okay, I don't care about that. Gas prices obviously are affecting the wallet. They do care about that. I mean, that's one thing you'll ask. You'll talk to some random person that just doesn't get involved with politics. It's like, why can't the gas prices be lower? I mean, that's the first thing they come to is like, how are things affecting me? Right off the bat. And if you ask them about Roe v. Wade and they're not fully, one way or another, they don't really know about it, they're going to be like, I don't know, man. I mean, leave that decision to the people that are doing that, right? Most people, as shallow as it sounds, are thinking about themselves first. And for obvious intentions, it makes sense, right? I mean, you should think about you need to have the food on the table, you need to have the money to secure yourself going forward in the future. If you try to get too deep into politics, for some people, it's almost like taking an extra calculus class. You don't want to do it.
You want to know, you want to know though, the overall problem with abortion, and you can call it all. I mean, we've heard all these different ideas of, my body, my choice. It's a moral issue. It's when is the baby born? But the overall concept comes down into the reason that it's a step in the right direction is because it is a morality issue in the long run. People think this is a okay thing, and we're only heading into a worse direction with it.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you can call it indoctrination, but indoctrination's impossible. It exists in all fact. What are the odds? The odds of something happening to you and then you believing that. You don't. I mean, think about it. If you're from, you're from New York, and you're probably going to be more leaning Democrat. Why? Because everyone around you leans Democrat, and that's the policies that are put in your place. It's not your fault. Just no different than the conservative people. Then you get into swing states like yours, Wisconsin, and mine, Pennsylvania, and we start having these kind of. One of my best friends, highly, highly conservative, except for they're also pro-choice. I mean, it's more of a libertarian view. John Stossel. When he came out, one of my favorite guys to listen to, he came out and he said that gave all the great ideas for pro-life and, makes 100% sense. In the end, he's like, it's the woman's body, it's still inside her. It should be her choice what to do with it. And for me, though, I thought, well, why don't you start making, what the state should do? The legislation should really be, it should be cold-blooded. How about this? All attempts are made to save the baby once you get into midway of second trimester. We attempt to save that baby, and we will. And if we do, we'll get better equipment to do it. We'll save that baby, and we'll have it incubated, and we'll have it survive. And if you think you have the right to murder that baby once it's not in your body, think again. Because that's not your body, your choice.
Yeah.
And you want to remove it with a coat hanger? Go right ahead. That's your body, your choice. Mutilate yourself and look like you're a psycho. But that's the thing. You're going to see a lot of these women, though, after they take it out, and
the media's trying to
say that, and they say
that there are
we can save this baby. We can save this baby. It's still alive. And the mother goes, no, just kill it. Okay, well, what do you sound like? Because now kill it? What is it? I thought it was your. Now you have an it. You take it out, it's an it.
Yeah, exactly.
So why don't we start trying to save the baby? Learn to build incubating things. These mothers who make decisions where they make poor decisions.
The problem that I see is that it comes down to a person's mentality, the same as what you're saying right here. But you're taking only a course of one person's mentality. Now there's another person being born, or could have been born. So
it's not women.
So
men
is
have
it
to
a
have
real
sex
thing?
too,
Is it not a real thing?
So
well, it's
promiscuity is the problem.
Yeah, and it's not just the women's side; it's also the man's side as well. But you have to put into the fact is, we've come to this point. 40 years later, we've come to this point that we were sold upon this lie, which actually could have been true. And then I looked up what CNN said, and they said that she lied about lying. It's like, well, if she lied about lying, maybe she double lied just so she could make some extra cash. Maybe she just wants to be famous on the camera, right? The person that was considered that she was like, you remember the person that was the spokesperson for the Roe v. Wade and all that? She came out recently, apparently before she died, on CNN reports saying that she lied about lying so that she could make some cash, and she didn't care what she was lying about. If you're going to just make money and lie about stuff, you might lie about lying too. I mean, if you already lied once, how can we trust you to say you're going to telling the truth the second time? You know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say is
I actually
Exactly.
lied
What
for a
I'm,
third time. I need to get paid again.
I
Sorry.
just need a little more money. I just a little more cash.
That's
Just
like,
a little
who was
more.
that? Was that Ryan Long who did that video
So
where he's like, he sells the same footage to both sides. He's like, here you have angry protesters,
yeah,
rioting and beating down police, or and here you have police tear gassing the protesters and beating them. It's like it's the same footage. We don't even edit it anymore. We just give
yeah,
it to both of them and
yeah.
make our money.
What I'm trying to say is, 40 years later, we've come to the point that it just doesn't seem to matter when we're looking at the actual thing itself. We're not looking for how did this happen? What's going on? Are there consequences to things? We've literally just put an entire veil in front of ourselves saying there's no more consequences to anything we do in life. And that's not true. And when this all came and now Roe v. Wade's happening, it's breaking down, everybody's like, ah, it's because they've been
Literally, they
stupid. They've
are.
been
Not everybody, but they
stupefied.
are.
Well, the people that want to be on the side, they've been stupefied,
Pounding on glass.
literally dumbed down to think that there's no consequences in life because they think, oh, a man can be whatever they want. They can be a woman can be a man. I don't know. I don't know anymore. The reason why the left side is breaking down so fast is because that's the thing. They don't understand anything anymore. So it's going to come down to who actually understands
I
something, and
love
it's
I love the
not.
one person that pointed
It's
that out. They said it's amazing how we finally got that definition of what a woman is again. Because now all of a sudden the women's rights are
yeah,
being taken away.
because this is what happens when you go in a lot of cloudy areas, and I don't know why a lot of Democrats want to be progressive because democracy means mob rule. Democracy means two wolves and a sheep arguing over what to eat for lunch, and it comes down to that. It comes down to
Look, we
mob. It comes down to majority
our
rule. So progressivism is the small thing, and democracy is the big thing. Small things get kicked out, big things win.
as
Why
far as I see it,
why are they trying to mesh together? It doesn't make any sense as far
as
as
far as I
that
see
is
it,
concerned. Because honestly, we don't really have a democracy. We were started with a constitutional republic. That's what we have. That's what people seem to not understand. And then when they're looking like, oh, they have, how can they do this and all that? Well, because the prerequisition for the entire argument was based upon a lie and other things as well. And so if they decide that they're going to go and kick it out because it's it doesn't hold the
you
argument
have
anymore, it's like, well, okay, that makes sense. But are people going to be angry? Yeah, they're going to be angry because it's going to be come down to each state. But my argument for that is that's a good thing because each state should be its own separate identity, sovereignty, unique to the country. So this state should be different than that state because this state, the people that live here, they want to rule
yeah,
and
but
work the way they want to work
divided
in
we
this
fall.
state. But that's the whole point. We're united states, which means we're united entities, different types of ways of being.
And
If
if we keep getting more divided, and all of a sudden China attacks California,
I don't think it's gonna I
you
don't think
think
it's gonna
half those
be
people are
like
going to come in?
that.
They're going to make.
I don't think it's gonna be totally like that. I think if we had completely different ideologies, sure. But we have mostly the same kind of ideology. But what I'm trying to say is like if we have like let's say Wisconsin has Lake Michigan next to it. There's a lot of fishing stuff that goes on. There's a lot of mining. There's a lot of stuff that happens in the state, different than what would happen in Pennsylvania, or more a mining area, and other things within Pennsylvania. I don't know all about Pennsylvania that well, but in every state they're going to have different things. You have a fishing community versus a farming community. You need different rules for each of those places. You can't have the same kind of rules, and you can't say if you're in a wilderness state like Wyoming or something like that, there can't be any guns at all. Bears will come up and attack you and maul you to death because you were scared and you ran and they showed some fear and you run away and then they come and attack you. You didn't have a gun because you
No,
weren't
no different
allowed
than New
not to
York
have a
because
gun
gangs will come and rape you to death.
and other things like
You
that.
tell,
And
you're,
you're
you're,
and
you're
you're
telling
looking
me
at
that little
city
younger kids,
situations
younger
versus
like
wilderness situations are the same. They're not. You have to have different
you
rules
know,
for the different types of things that exist in this world. So that's
Younger
that's my
kids,
argument there.
like, all right. So what I was gonna say earlier is like, we're freedom of religion here, but we never say we're like freedom of no religion. So like, unless you're some kind of satanic worshiper, like, get your atheist views out of here. You don't choose a religion. It's not my problem. But we're not about that. And tell me what I mean. I'm pretty sure even Muslims are like,
Yeah,
no,
that's
boarding
interesting. It's
babies is
freedom of
wrong.
religion, but if they don't believe anything, then they shouldn't
That's not
have
my problem.
rights, right? Because they don't have a
Right. That's
religion.
right. That's what I'm saying.
There's,
Like,
but there's no
like
freedom of
unless
no religion, is what you're saying. There's no freedom of
right. There's
there's
no
no
freedom of
freedom
no
of
religion.
atheism. Oh, that's the trick. That's the you found you found the secret.
But it's
That's the
true
secret.
because
That's what they're trying to
because
inject into
you tell me
people, so you don't
you
believe in
tell me
anything,
what
and then
I
you
mean.
don't
Muslims.
have
You
freedoms. Your
see
freedoms are
Muslims.
taken away because
Are
you
they
don't.
about aborting babies? I doubt it. Name one religion that's about aborting babies, except for maybe like a satanic cult
Moloch,
worshippers and
well,
stuff.
Moloch from the past,
I mean,
putting babies in steaming bull constricted figures, entities in their hands, so the baby would be melted in the hand of the bull of Moloch. Did you ever research that? It's absolutely horrifying.
no, what
To
culture
see
is that?
way back from Sumerian cultures
Right.
and things like that, long ago, back when the Jews
Well,
were exiting.
back when they were more proficient at getting that adrenochrome and stuff like that, they
I don't
knew
know,
they knew
man.
what to do.
I don't know, maybe,
Fresh out
but
the womb.
that I'm just saying, like this kind of stuff that we're looking at isn't so different than what happened long ago with the Moloch, except for you're not worshiping a bull to do so. You're just, you know. But then again, other people will say, well, there's all these expenses and there's all these things and all these and blah 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 and then blah blah blah. Adoption is a thing. Adoption does exist. You can
I was
adopt
adopted.
and the fact is, because you're here, I can talk to you. If you weren't here, I wouldn't have a good friend to talk to. I'd be talking to myself. I'd be doing this all by myself. Which I have to say, I mean,
Well, I don't think my birth mom ever actually wanted to abort me though. So
but I'm just saying, there's other people out there that could be here today. And
not just some too. It's like thousands and thousands
there's
a
probably
month.
millions of kids and all that. I don't know the number, but yeah, I'm just trying to make a point. Like, what if one of those people actually could have cured cancer and then they were aborted? Wouldn't the irony be there, right there, in and of itself? This one person could have cured cancer, but he was aborted.
It's dangerous to get into the whole what if game because like I mean you're like getting into
But
like
I'm
time
looking at
machine.
numerically possibilities, and
But
those things do exist. There are, with more numbers do come more possibilities.
but I just don't understand. Like I mean I do understand, but it's I I guess you know what? No, I don't understand how these people who are writing can't even understand the irony of like when Trump was president, you guys were freaking out. Then when Biden became, but it's true. I've already seen some of those right side people wishing it in the left's face, pushing it in their face, like you're a murderer, baby murderer. You know, you don't have to get to their level. In fact, you should probably give brochures
Yeah.
and understand why. This is not. You've been duped by thinking this is okay.
Hmm.
The concept my body my choice, it has a very nice flow to it, just like Black Lives Matter. It rolls off your tongue.
Hmm.
These are Antifa. All these terms, they roll off your tongue. They make you feel important, but
Oh
they're
yeah.
just designed to sound good. Just like just do it. It's these there's these certain phrases and terminologies that are addicting.
Hmm.
And that's the truth of it. And the truth is people know it. People know how to play the game of manipulating your mind, and you kind of have to wake up to it. You kind of have to realize that it's
That's
not a
that's the thing,
conspiracy theorist.
because
People are
even
trying to control you.
yeah, even when I was married or when I had a girlfriend or anything like that, it was always about finding the right time, to do what you need to do in order to not have a kid. There are certain cycles and certain times when you can do it and not have to really have protection, and you know you'd be pretty in the clear. I know it basically takes time to like figure that out and like put that down to a calculated system, and then you got to kind of work with your partner on that and all that. But you can do it and also still not get pregnant. There are ways to do this without even contraception for that. But the fact
It's
is,
just all too comfortable. That's what I mean. It's too comfortable.
There is contraceptives.
Why aren't they all
there is
shooting
after
heroin?
The pill,
then?
you know, there's all these pills. There's all these ways to stop it and everything. And the thing is, people will say on the other side of the argument, they'll be arguing for the fact that, oh, well, you know, they've got this rare thing. They can't do it at all. They can't get it, blah, blah, blah. And the states will allow those kinds of medical conditions and things like that.
Just get rid of law then. Give everybody their guns. Let people rape whoever they want, and you want to rape the wrong person, you're going to get killed. Get lucky. Take the gamble if you want to be crazy. You want to just live a controlled life, probably get a gun anyway, because somebody's going to, just why not? Let the psychos be psychos and let them get murdered. I mean, there's no real difference anymore.
But the thing is,
you want to help people
is that
or
women,
you want to just cleanse them?
Here's one of the big things that comes down to men and women. Women want to try to keep a lot of that private, right? They don't want to let that out in the open. But a relationship is something that is pulled into the limelight. Now, yeah, a man might come and go, but that's still going to be part of his business, and people are still going to know about that too. So in almost any relationship or almost any kind of interaction people have, it's going to come out in the light anyways. So people
I think that's a very conservative field, though. A lot of girls don't care anymore.
Nobody's going to know about this. It was just the one thing or whatever. That person knows about it. And that person is going to go and tell another friend of his, and another friend of his is going to tell another friend of his. This shit just goes everywhere. As soon as you connect with another person, all your business is out in the open for everybody to see.
A lot of girls don't care anymore.
But I'm just saying, especially nowadays, what you see with the thoughts and stuff like that on Twitch and all these other platforms, they just want to show themselves off and talk about all this kind of stuff, and then they got all this extra drama now.
If you look good, you feel like you won the lottery,
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting advertised for that right now with one of the highest stream persons on Twitch right now. It starts with an A. I'm just like, what? That's the same. I'm just saying this stuff, and she already has a boyfriend, and people still simp to that for no reason. Relationships are all over the place. You can't, like, as soon as you get into any kind of limelight.
And porn's, isn't that weird, though? And porn's more around than ever, so you think, well, masturbation should just be up more. But no, people are more promiscuous than ever. Everybody wants the real deal.
Because it's not about, because the fact is for most people, it's not about the porn. Yeah, it's about seeing the image and all that, but it's about actually connecting with the other person. That's what men actually do want, for the most part. Other people will say, no, it's just they want to see the thing, get it done, blah, blah, blah. No, you want to connect with the other person. Because
a lot of people look at it like it's an exercise. It's just an exercise with a little bit more connection.
They don't know, and they don't know the truth on it. It's really about actually connecting with the other person. And that's why
it's supposed to be.
That's a big reason why these OnlyFans are so popular. They barely get to see anything at all, but they pay thousands or hundreds of dollars to these women to have a pseudo relationship with them, right? A pseudo relationship. And when I'm saying pseudo, I mean, you just look up the word. You understand?
Yeah, I should do that.
It's just
charging myself like, $5 to talk to me. Nobody would say
that. You'll find somebody. Honestly, it'll happen. But I'm just saying that's what it is. Because there's a lot of what we've turned ourselves into with the internet. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm saying it's a good thing to connect with other people in other cultures and understand their language and all that. But what has ended up happening emotionally wise is now we rely on that so much that we don't have anybody physically here with us, and having all these fingers, we actually want to use them, being men and all that. And same thing for women too. We're not meant to be here to just be strictly digital avatars. We're not meant to be that way. And so when we find somebody we really, really like and we want to be with them, we literally physically want to be with them. That's why you get married. That's why you feel like having children. That's why you become a good father, a good mother, and all that. And you move on with your life, and you live that way because that's what we're built to do. It's just a natural thing.
I just
I
think
can't
that,
believe I
and
have to actually say that.
I can't force people to be religious, but I think the truth is the more religious you are and the more holy you do things, you abstain until marriage, it's a better way of life. I mean, you see those people who are Amish, they don't have high suicide rates. They tend
Do
to
they
be
go
very
out and gun
happy. They
each
tend
other
to be
down in
healthy
their
and
schools?
hardworking. They're not shooting each other. Why do you think that is? I think it's because they try to also follow a set of high moral standards. It just happens to be that high moral standards also leads to your children having high moral standards. Do you want what's best for your child? No, that's why you abort them right away, I guess, so you can be a piece of shit and keep
Isn't it
doing what you're
interesting that
doing.
most of the people that want to
And when
tell you what to
you're
do with
and
their
when you're ready to
children
flip the switch and
don't?
feel like you're a better person, then you'll have the child and tell that child every two things that they do wrong. No, stop, shut up, quiet, because you don't know. And you're the mother of the year now because all of a sudden you got it. You figured it out. You decided to stop being a hoe bag. You decided to stop doing the wrong thing, partying all night long. Now you're going to start being the right thing. You're going to have your kid and you're going to tell your kid how to do the right thing. You're going to make them do it. Oh, well, but you know what's going to happen. They're going to have their stage too. And then you'll be cool mom again in your 50s. Won't that be fun? When your kid's 20 and you're 50. Or
Yeah,
I
that's the
guess
thing I've noticed too.
in
Even
these
with
ages now, when
I've noticed
your
with
kid's 20 and you're 40.
I've noticed with people, or I want to say women right now, and I'm not going to say all women, but this definitely does happen. And I don't want to get too personal about this, but I've noticed that once they're not in control of the child or whatever, let's say it's the grandchild or whatever, they'll just try to get on their side no matter what. And, in some manipulative way, try to turn them against the father in a sense. And it just, oh, the anger. Oh, the anger. It'll rage through your body. It's
Well,
just
I think
it's just some of these people that think that they can just, oh, I'm not the parent anymore. I can just take a back seat and be the best friend and tell you can do whatever you want. And you know
I
they're
just
bad,
think
I'm
we don't.
good.
I don't think
Let's not do it.
any of
Let's
us
not
know how to
do
be
it
parents.
for people that aren't parents or aren't parenting. Don't try to be the parent. You're not a parent at the point. There's so many people out there that are trying to use this thing as
Yeah,
saying,
yeah. I
I'm a
guess
parent,
that's the
so I
case.
can tell you what to do. No,
Isn't
you're
that?
not a parent. You're
Yeah,
not a
you're
parent.
right.
You're not in
Ooh, you
charge.
made the point.
Don't tell me what to do
Yeah,
because
yeah. You
I
know
know
what?
what's
If you want to
going
go
on.
and abort your babies and you don't want to be a parent and you think you're a teacher at a school and you're going to tell my children what to do, nah, take a hike. Maybe we should start changing the law about that. Teachers must also have children. How about that? How about that should be a law? Because I don't want some
If they
person
don't
who
even
thinks
know how to
that
be a
they know
parent and they're
better
trying
when
to
they don't
parent
even know what it means
children's,
to have a life. You probably want to end a life. You support getting rid of life.
and then
And then you
they're
want
in
to go and
control of all these
teach kids later?
children.
Yeah, nah. You're right. We should. It should be a law. Only mothers can be teachers. And you can get those special circumstances where
What
no,
if they can't
you
have a
can easily
children and they wanted to have children? Okay, I can
you can
understand
have
something like
doctors
that.
that you can have special circumstances where they can be reviewed by certain people where it's like, okay, we understand you wanted to be, this is your way to do it. But again, you have to be careful. You have to watch out. I mean, my mom was one of those people. She couldn't have kids. That's why she chose to adopt, you
And that's
know,
a totally acceptable understanding of reality because that's a
and she
fact.
was a teacher.
That's a
My mom
fact.
was a
There are
teacher.
definitely people that, whether it's the guy, the woman, or both of them, that can't have a child. Look at all these people that could be parents that can't be parents because everybody just wants to, oh, well, I'll abort it. It's a fetus until I abort it, right? Oh, yeah, definitely. But it could be a child. But it's, I just want to believe that it's, come on. Let's stop
Quite
beating about
ironic.
the bush. Let's start realizing what the reality of reality actually is. If we start to
I would have loved to have my mom's view
if
on
we
this
if we
call.
look at this kind of stuff and we look at this argument and I just want to tear my hair out because it doesn't make any sense how people can be so small-minded in
Yeah.
the sense that they think that it's not even a living entity anymore. They just think it's a growth
I
of
mean, I
skin.
know I'm brainwashed. I know I'm brainwashed in life. Everything in life is brainwashed. Everything you experience is indoctrination. You know, you don't have to have green means go and red means stop. That's what you just learn. You learn that because, and we do this is
So
what we
red is
try to do.
bad, green is good.
Yeah,
Anything
and you
along the
start.
cool colors is good. So, blue and all this other stuff, those are the good colors. The red colors are bad because red colors means you can't do what you want. Do you see how that can even come into play? I'm just throwing
Well,
something out
well,
there,
yeah.
but I mean, I'm
Well,
just
a lot of businesses don't typically like to use that red unless professionally done. Like Target did the
unless you're trying to
Target,
really,
which is
really
like a
pop, like you see all this red lettering
right.
on this little mini
Right,
mall with all the
but again, look what business is failing. Target, like so.
yeah.
Is it red? I guess red's not that. You got to keep that
But
cool blue Walmart.
here's the thing when we're coming back to this topic here is the fact that we're
Anyway,
looking at
getting off topic.
the Roe v Wade is overturned 40 years later. Why is it overturned 40 years later? Now, I'm going to
Clarence
go ahead.
Thomas.
Now, what'd you say?
Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thomas?
Is that his name?
I'd have to look that up, but let me get out my little thought process
Look it up.
here.
Try
Let
to
me get
make
my
it
thought process out
good.
here, and then you can conjecture on what I had to say, and I'll have to look up Clarence Thomas. What I wanted to say was that you look at how crazy things have been lately
And he's old,
with
so
with
he's
the
been
way.
through it.
Okay, but look at how things have been so crazy lately with everything the left has wanted, they've been getting, right? We've been on this trans cultural phase, right? They got everything they wanted, pretty much. If there's a kickback, you push too hard to one side. This is how I've always felt that the politics are, and I'm starting to believe that this is the truth of the matter. You push too hard to the left, you start listing to the left. The boat, everybody lists to the left, and everybody's like, no, we don't want to we don't want to sink, we don't want to sink. We start listing to the right. Everything that the left has done so far has been pushing so hard into all kinds of topics and the possibility
Right, but it keeps.
of grooming
But the thing is,
children
it keeps
with
tipping
trans
further and
stuff.
further now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's the possibility of grooming, the possibility of this, and a possibility of
Yeah, it's
that,
so weird.
and it's the
I mean, come on, how do
craziness
people not
of
think
it
that's weird?
that
Even the one
that
trans
the
person
writer
said
like
it's weird.
no, we're going over here, and then Roe v. Wade overturned because everybody's just like we're on the crazy train. We don't want to be on a crazy train. Let's get off the crazy train track and go on the other track over here, and then everybody goes onto that track, and then now we're not. I honestly think. I honestly think that, like what I told you before with the silent generation, or the silent generation with the swingers, there's the beatniks, then there was the hippies, then there was the grunge phase. This was our phase, the grunge phase, the Xers, millennials, and all that. And then there's
Man, I was in the preppy stage.
the trans phase, which is what we have today. The next phase, I bet any money, is going to be some kind of Puritan like sexual generational phase. I even told this to a teacher of mine. She didn't even understand it. It blew her mind. And I'm just like, this is the way we go as a culture. This is the way we go as society. Every single phase changes and goes extrovert, introvert, extrovert, introvert, extrovert, introvert. The next one, this one's extroverted. The next one will be introverted, and it'll be more Puritan. It'll be more conservative. You see so many more conservatives pushing towards the future now. This whole thing's going to be looked upon, laughed at. This he, she, they, it, whatever is going to be ignored. Nobody's even going to remember it 10, 15 years from now. Bet any money. It's going to be gone. I'm just saying, like, this is how I see things going towards the future. And I see the way that we have.
Because we'll all be like having flooding and all that kind of stuff. So they won't have time to worry about that. Famine.
I think the world might change. I don't know if it's going to be like what they say it is or just a natural phase. I can't say, but not a scientist. It's going to take a long time to look into all that. I'm just saying, like, culturally speaking, this does look like a repetition of the past. We're going to move into the grunge phase in the future, but it's going to be more, I want to say Puritan. I don't know if you want to say something else, but you let me know what you think.
Well, like I said, you kind of after the grunge was like that prep stage where everybody tried. It's country kind of took charge and preppiness, like proper being,
The shifting
trying
part
to
of
be.
it is what got us to where we're at, where you
But that's what I'm saying. Then we
follow the
then we
status
rock
quo,
we
right?
rocked back after that. We rocked back after that prep over to this back to this like grunge styled, like do whatever you want and
Grunge wasn't
you know
about
what I
do
mean.
whatever you want.
What
No,
was grunge then?
no, the hippies were about do whatever you want. The trans are about do whatever you want. Grunge is about giving the middle finger to the corporations, giving the middle finger to the high society, the ones that want to control everything.
Yeah,
We
but
were
all
about
that's
the phase of
confused.
giving the middle finger. No, it's not confusing. It's the introverts are against the socials. If you look at the one movie with the poor
I
people
think the
versus the
hippies was
socials.
confusing because they were just against the war. Most of them really probably didn't even have a clue
They were
what to
about
believe in.
DMT and drugs and
Yeah,
love and
I mean,
sex
they
with
tried.
everybody. But the fact is, they didn't like the people that were involved in the war, and those people who are involved in the war are just basic regular guys. And so they spat at them. That's where you get the Rambo movie from. That's where you get the ideology of the people from that kind of war, where they come back from the war and the people that they would think that would love them hate them because they were involved in the war. They did what they thought they had to do, or they were just drafted into the war. It didn't matter. They were just not a part of society anymore. They were looked down upon. It's like I did what I thought was right. I mean, you look at the Rambo First Blood, look at that kind of movie, look at that kind of mentality that people had. It's not just a movie. It actually kind of like existed within those kinds of people at the time in the 70s because they had to go to war. They didn't have much of a choice. There was people that literally dodged the draft. They found a way. They would go into ROTC, dodge the draft. I know some people that are about this, just so they could avoid going to the Vietnam War or something
Let
like
me
that.
ask you this: do you believe the times have changed since the '70s?
I think everything cycles back to some degree, not perfectly. We do evolve a little
Yeah,
bit,
every
but
80 years, there's always a war.
yeah, yeah. I
No, but I'm just saying that one of the more complexing things, it's a very simple thought process, but one of the more complexing things to think about in life is that we're all different ages.
mm-hmm.
As I'm saying, a lot of kids who are going through the idea of like, I might make a choice. If all of a sudden I got a baby, I I'm screwed. Like, and I'm in the middle of college stuff. Of course, you're gonna want to protest that. However, if you're
Mm-hmm.
like a 50-year-old person who's been brought up under religion your entire life, you're just gonna see this as like, I'm in a position of power because God gave this to me, and I need to make sure that I save these children. I don't, of course it's gonna make people angry, but they don't know any better. God be with them to learn.
And here's the thing, you know,
And
you know the bright side about this. If those people that have to have the child and they raise them themselves, they're going to change their minds on the whole process itself because they're going to be like,
that's
I
that's not true though. That's
I
not true. I'm sorry.
well,
My best friend who's conservative is still pro-choice, and they even said, well, what happens if my kid gets pregnant? That's what they said.
they're not
I
thinking
mean,
about
it's
it, but they're thinking about it for their kid. They're not thinking about it for themselves. Once they actually bring the child into the world for themselves, they'll have a
I
difference
said
of
I would I
opinion.
said I would raise the child if my daughter ever got pregnant. I said I'd just take the child from her. I'd fight for custody and take it from her. And be like, that's because that's what a good parent will do.
And you
Take
would
the
be a good
child,
you would be a good parent for doing so. And
and let you
that's the
continue
thing.
living your
And
life.
you know what the thing is? It's really hard
But you need a
because
you need a good parent in order to.
I don't want to get into all the details because this is a podcast, but this. I've already told you this before, but you and I have lived a lot of very similar life in a similar aspect. the thing is, with parents, not all of them are really good or made to be parents, or some people just can't even have children that could be good parents. They can't have a child and they can't be good parents. And there's people that can't have children and are horrible parents.
But again, there's two things in life.
There's so many good parents out there that could take this child that you had, and even whether it was a mistake or just you don't have the finances to whatever.
We talked about this on a show before.
I
What happens
know.
when the government starts taking millions of children and then indoctrinating them even more?
Turns them all into assassins. Guess what? We've already seen plenty of movies about this.
Or
CIA
just
assassins
voters
go
to their
out there and
power.
kill this
You
person
start getting
in this other country. We
millions
see
of
this
kids
all over the place. They even
who you
show this in different movies, and they try to advocate it like it's a good thing. You got to be kidding me! You're. This is what the government wants to do. The government has to control. One of the best sources of control is to turn people into militants. Militants for its source, whether it's by design or forced. And when you let a government control you with communism, you are forced to do whatever it tells you to do.
The thing is,
when you have a government that you can control, it doesn't do that to you. We look at, I'm just saying, you can't let the government rule you. The government are supposed to be civil servants for a reason.
You're kind of making me get off topic, so we'll have to watch ourselves. But
okay,
I mean, it's like I was saying. I think even like with government, you should never have to pay federal taxes. You should have to pay local taxes, and those local taxes should have to pay
that's
state
a whole other
taxes.
conversation.
And those state taxes should have to pay
was
federal
installed
taxes.
at a certain point for banks. Now, whether you want to be for it or against it, honestly, I think we should find a way to abolish the whole thing and just go back to states. And then
That's what I think.
Here's the reason why I'm saying this. And I know you kind of like argued it.
States should supply the feds. I don't need to individually supply the feds. It's too messy and too individualistic. The feds have no reason to be monitoring me for any reason. I've done nothing.
Your
whole federal
organization find a way to demolish it all.
Buying information.
It needs to be cut completely. That was introduced so that the banking system, the people hidden behind the banking system that JFK was talking about, found a way into our system and interjected themselves into our United States. We don't need that. We need to have our own nation control that has no outside influence and is just influenced by ourselves.
There's a lot of things that need to be fixed, and the reality is it's kind of like castor oil for a lot of people. I know it's not what you want to hear, but in the long run, you need to take your medicine because you've been duped by basically just a lot of rich people who wanted to get richer. And it might not even be some grand conspiracy thing. They might have just wanted to get richer and they got really good at what they did. And they didn't even see, like I always say, unseen repercussions. We don't know what's going to happen when other things happen. The television got made so we can get news media out, not so we can have comedy, and certainly not so we can eventually lead to TikToks, short videos that just brainwashes children who think they're smart because they watch 50 videos. That's not making you smart when you're watching 50 videos about nothing.
I think it was labeled television to support the idea of tell a vision. Somebody will say tell live vision, but I think it's supposed to be television.
I think tele's for like
telephone, a communication vision. So I think communication and vision are the two words that are butt up against each other. Those are the two root words.
See the vision of communication.
The vision of communication, yes.
And it was like I said, it was just for news and maybe a little bit of like cowboy and Indian joke kind of TV show to
and the fact is people. Like people will say, oh, well, they had all this and they had all that. I don't care anymore. It doesn't matter. Yes, they weren't educated enough. They weren't smart enough. They didn't understand enough. That's true. But they did get it going. And the fact that we're here today doing this is a tribute to what happened then. You go through a lot of upsets until you figure out what the real thing is. I think the fact is like what I've said before, and this really turns a lot of people's stomachs. I don't think it'll turn yours, but I think it turns a lot of people's stomachs. We are the skin color we are because of what we lived with and what we've eaten in our terrain over the course of thousands of years. So I might have
Yeah.
more color than you or less color than you, but depending upon where you live and how proximate you are to the sun with the melatonin, you look at the people that go down to Florida and they start getting all spots on their face. Why? Because their skin recognizes they need more melatonin to combat the strength of the sun because they're there. That's why they get all this patchy looking skin. You are what you eat. You are the product of your environment. It's all true. It's all the way it is.
Yeah.
And other
Every
people are
second
like,
of
they want to be racist towards this. It's like, dude, you go live there for 1,000 years, you're going to start looking exactly like that.
it
There's
only
it
takes like
just that takes away all racism right there, right?
you can live in the
I don't
cold
want
your
to I don't
entire
want to
life.
change topics,
You
but
spend
I'm just like it's something that I feel
20
like I have to
minutes in like
say.
130-degree weather and then come back. You'll always remember that, you know, 20 minutes in 130 degree. Like you'll burn yourself, and then you'll.
Hmm.
It's not like it's gonna heal up because you've lived more in the cold. Like experiences happen.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's like I've always talked about that. You know, the odds of things and what are the
I
odds?
kind of moved away from the topic, but uh,
I thought we moved on.
yeah, I don't know what else. Is there anything
I,
else you want to talk about that with Roe v. Wade? Is there any big thing that you because you kind of enlightened me a little bit earlier with that whole thing, like the parent. Why are we having people that aren't parents watch our children and try to parent them? Like, I mean, maybe some have good intentions, but there's definitely some that if they don't have children, I mean,
or at least they don't want children. I mean, if you didn't find the right person on, but again, and I'm not.
because here's the
Look,
thing.
oh,
I'll say one thing and I'll shut up for quite some time. I remember this. I don't know if you remember your kindergarten, but I remember my kindergarten. My kindergarten teacher, she did some nice things and there were some weird things, right? I know that typically you go to sleep in the afternoon, you sleep on a. I could never sleep. I would just stay there with my eyes, try to close my eyes and sleep, in the kindergarten class on a magic carpet and all that. I play with some of the other kids. For your birthday, they would let you be the king or the queen, sit on a chair, get a Burger King throne on your head. It's kind of funny. You got one of those little crowns on your head. But there was one time she tried to do psychic cards with me, and it was like, what is this? Is this a star or a lightning bolt or a wave or whatever? And I could just get it, you know? And I was like, why am I doing this? And I looked around and almost nobody else was doing this. I think a couple other people did, but I was experimented on in that sense. What the hell was that about? For her to
yeah.
do it, and she was a recognized teacher. Everybody loved her within this community or the city and all
Well,
that
they
for
do
being a
their
teacher.
own. I think they
But
do their
but
own
but but
experiments
I
and
was
stuff.
experimented on for that sake, and the fact is, it wasn't a horrible experiment, but it was like, what, what gives her the
It gives
freedom
you
to
the
do
right.
that?
It gives
And
you the
if
right
I
to just choose to do.
if I
And
was
that's what I mean.
if I was an older person, I would have expressed it to my mom, but I didn't express it to my mom because as a kid, you think that's what your mom wants you to do. So you don't think about asking your parent, your mom or your dad, is this okay? Because you
Right.
think they sent you there and that's the way life is.
And as a parent, you're basically obligated to be like, you need to go to school. You can't say to the
Exactly.
kid like, you
I'll be
know.
right back. But yeah, definitely tell
I
me
mean,
about that.
I try to talk to my kid all the time. Like, well, what's the problem? Or talk, and it's hard because, I mean, she doesn't always like to express herself well, but that's fine. She's only a little. Either way, I'm not gonna necessarily talk about my family. What was we're just talking about? We're gonna pick a new topic. We gotta pick a whole new topic in general. Because yeah, Roe v. Wade. Uh, the thing is, I really didn't care that much about it. I refer to it as two steps forward in morality, one step backward in America, United States. Because I mean, I don't think it's necessarily the greatest thing for the United States. It's going to divide us more. You're seeing it. It's certainly it's a good thing for the United States in the long run, but not in the middle of like Biden presidency, where we just had a Trump presidency, where everybody's angry at everybody and all that. I mean, you're just adding more and more fuel to the fire. And at what reason are we doing this if there's not some kind of like crash ending here? I mean, is because you keep thinking about it, where's it supposed to literally end here? You know what I mean? Like, is everybody going to eventually be like, okay, we agree, or we agree to disagree. Let's just all be friends. It's easier if we just live in denial with each other. We'll all vote on it in secret, but we'll live in denial with each other. And if one of us says the thing that we don't like, it's like, we can just be like, and they'll know that, we don't like them and they don't like, and then we can just move on. But, because for the most part, that's kind of how normal society works anyway. I mean, that's how it works around where I live. I never hear like crazy protests or anything. I've never seen it, had it, nothing crazy in where I live ever. I drove to Lancaster once and there was like some people marching one time, but it's like on the sidewalk and there's like two cops walking with them
Hmm.
peacefully. It seemed pretty organized.
Yeah,
Didn't seem like a problem.
yeah, I
You're
think
allowed to
it.
march. You're allowed to support your cause. I don't know what the cause was, but it
Yeah, man,
seemed like a
it's.
lot of people cared.
I think. Or what are we? What do we? You switch topics already, or?
Well, no, I just kind of closed on Roe v. Wade. I said we should switch topics. I
Yeah,
don't necessarily have another topic to switch to.
yeah, I think with
Moved upstairs.
I think with how it's going is just honestly, it wasn't a part of the Constitution. They keep saying it's a part of the Constitution because it was enacted as a bill, but it's not in the Constitution. Um, and then they're like, we're taking away. Just the lies that we hear so much. I just did a paper that I had to respond to about Australia, and there's some people in Australia saying that the government is not rounding up unvaccinated people and trying to vaccinate them, which is a lie. Reuters did try to report on this, and they're like, no, they don't round up. They went to the Aboriginals and tried to vaccinate the Aboriginals. The pygmy characters or whatever the Aboriginals are for Australia, because I don't live there, and they put them in the camps. The concentrated camps, not concentration camps, but concentrated camps for COVID, right? And because they had COVID. And
Concentration, but concentrated.
I know I can't use the word because they're going to be
Genius.
like, you can't use that. That was for Nazi Germany with all the blah blah blah. Yeah, they're not killing
Genius.
them per se, but they're concentrated in a camp, right? Um, which is true. So if you have COVID in Australia, you're concentrated in a camp. And they also found out that some people that were within proxy of somebody else that had COVID were sent to those camps. And major media outlets will say, no, that never happened. And local sources will say otherwise. So, who do we believe? You know, if thousands of people are trying to make a run for the border in Australia, and we see this, and they're getting pepper sprayed, and old grandmas are getting kicked on the ground and pepper sprayed in their face, I'm going to go ahead and believe what the regular people, not what the government media has to say, because they're bought and paid for. Everything is bought and paid for, you know? That's one thing that's one major issue that's going to happen. It's going to be a major change in the future that everybody's going to be actually happy for, except for those that are getting, a pretty penny.
You know, you made me just think about something randomly, just what you're talking about. It's completely off topic, everything we're talking about. Because we don't really have a topic right now, right? We're just kind of rambling, right?
Whatever what do you feel like
So,
going into?
well, I don't necessarily have a feeling what I want to, but I want to kind of say this. I'd say it kind of started in the 80s in a way. In a way. But people started getting this idea of like teaching your kid to get into a profession, you know? Sports is one of the easiest ways you can see it. Like Tiger Woods is a great example. He started when he was like 2 and You know, a lot of basketball players. I mean, there's a lot of people that start when they're a little bit later too. You know, it happens that you don't necessarily need this, but it severely seems to be an edge. Almost every great athlete started when they were practically like an infant.
That's
You
how they
know,
try to
and
train you, because that's genuinely, you become great from birth. But the fact is, it doesn't necessarily mean that that is your inclination in life.
point is, it's not just with sports that people do this. People do this with like business now, and we've kind of changed. And now we're not the first generation, so it's gotten even more complex where it's something you don't really see, but it's like you have this like, oh, you want to be a business person? Well, let me teach you how to cheat, lie, and steal. You know, like it's right to the point of what you're gonna do. You know, you're gonna be a stock trader. You know, like okay, you know, like
Hmm.
let me teach you how to stay awake for 24 hours straight. You know, like
Yeah, yeah.
it,
Oh my gosh. You've made an interesting point there, because I'm even playing this new current game that was made from SquareSoft or Square Enix. It was called Triangle Strategy, and it goes into the fact of actually arguing the case for one of the three types of society: feudalism, freedom, or morality, or like holiness or whatever. There's the one side over here that's all blue colored army troops and all that. They're Hyzant. They worship the goddess. Those that don't worship the goddess are sent to grueling slave labor till they die. And they could just kill them at any point in time. They don't even
is
care.
that the whole? Is that the holy?
The holy troop is considered the religious group is
They're
their
like the most evil though. They're like in the sense that like you either follow us or you.
kind. Everybody has its problems, right? But with the Ask Frosty with the North, they're all about liberty. So you have complete freedom, but there's no laws. It's not like America with liberty and justice. It's just liberty. So there's no laws. You could just upend your brother or sister and kill them off if you want to make a better gain for yourself, right? So it's all about complete liberty. No laws, just liberty. The other side that you start with is feudalism. So there's a kingship, there's princes, crowns, all this stuff. As soon as Frosty comes down and liberates, like what we say with America, we liberated another country, or we liberated something, they liberate the crown, everybody likes it. Because it doesn't mean that the royals are in charge anymore. It just means whoever can get or gain control has a better life, instead of having to pay taxes to these royal crowns, like what we did with the Revolutionary War. We fought over less taxes and all that. They gained their freedom. They liked it, right?
Well, nowadays they
But
just
there's the
manipulated
holy
the way of how
people.
we see taxes by just inflating the dollar.
But I'm just saying, there's also the holy people that are they're making these particular kinds of people called the Roselle, which are pink-haired people, do slave labor till the rest of their life till they die. They have no choice in it, and they have to continuously grovel, to the goddess for forgiveness for something that happened long ago. But it was all based upon a lie. It was all based upon the fact that Hyzant had all this salt to distribute to other people to use for food or for whatever, and everybody wanted salt, and only the salt was within this one source, and the goddess provided it for everybody else. But then they find this extra salt crystal somewhere else, which means that the salt is all around the place. It's not just there. So I'm still kind of in the middle of the game playing through, but it's trying to actually show you that, a holy source can, you know, be a tyrant over certain kinds of people. Liberty can step all over everybody unless they're at the top. And the regal kind is the good kind unless you're a certain kind of people. Which I think, looking forward now, it's just you. Every game developer that comes out, they try to actually they're starting to put out their ideologies as to what's better, but it's not true, because there's plenty of regal societies and regal families that have just done so many atrocities. I mean, look at Vlad the Impaler. Look at, look at some of these nobilities that were considered baron robbers or robber barons. And some people will say nowadays, they'll be like, oh, I'd rather a robber baron than somebody else. I'd rather appease the baron for a little while than have to appease the system. No. This is what they're trying to trick us into, especially with this reset. This great reset is to greatly reset us back to feudalism, to becoming a serf again. I'm a slave. Like Ash in the movie Army of Darkness. I am a slave. It wasn't always this way. I used to have a life once. And he goes into thinking about his life, from long ago. Before the Army of Darkness, it was, there was the Army of Darkness, and there was, there was the Evil Dead 2, the Army of Darkness. An Army of Darkness is a comedy of that whole thing, but it puts you back into feudalism because he time travels back 2,000 years ago with his car, with his shotgun, with his cut off arm and mechanical arm parts, and he has to fight Ash. Ash. He has to fight the Evil Dead. You've seen it, But I'm just saying, this is what they're trying to drive us into, is feudalism. We need some god like Elon Musk or some feudalistic god to promote us into the future, and we'll just be his slave. We'll just be his serf. I'm not saying it's Elon Musk, but I'm just saying this feels like this. This feels like we're coming to the feudalistic reality that we're going to become slaves again, because this is what they say. Who controls most of the farms in the United States? Do you know who it is? They say it's Bill Gates. Who controls most of the, who started Microsoft? Bill Gates. Why is Bill Gates so in charge of our vaccination medical health status when he's not a fucking G-damn anything in charge of anything, but yet he has such a voice that everybody has to listen to like he's some kind of fucking prophet. He's not.
He buys his way into things.
Yeah, money. Because we're almost like the Ass Frosty in this game, where the fact is we're about liberty, but we're about justice too. The fact is everybody's trying to cut the justice off and just make it about strictly liberty. There has to be justice. That's why we're seeing this Roe v. Wade. It's because it's about justice. That shit that happened long ago wasn't true. All those things, yes, it could be true, but it wasn't true. And so it's gone. You can only live with a lie for so long. After that, it's gone. That's the truth. We can't live with a lie forever.
I just don't even understand. People like are rioting sometimes. Like people like riot in like New York and stuff. It's like, what are you worried about in New York?
You guys got your vaccine cards and your paranoia wrist tats and all kinds of stuff. Like, I don't have COVID. Oh, yeah.
They'll be like the people
barely
who
kills anybody compared to suicide. Look at Australia. There's 4 times the amount of suicide compared to COVID deaths because of the thing.
I'm surprised Babylon B hasn't even already done like people from New York gladly take the California and New York are getting like tattoos of barcodes now just because.
You might as well get a deer tag in your ear for fuck's sakes, right?
Well, no, but it's like they say, it's like, I know the Bible says that was like a sign of like the mark of the beast, but
yeah, the mark of the beast.
Like, doesn't it look so cool?
Yeah, look at my ear tag here. I'm a deer now. Yeah, shoot me.
Because they'll be like, you can always it's gonna be like a barcode. They'll be like, you can scan it to like multiple websites to like you make like it scans to your homepage where you have multiple websites.
Isn't that the weirdest thing? We love Cowboy Bebop, and they have the barcode on the back of the neck there.
Yeah.
Back of the neck is your barcode for who you are. You are just a number.
Mm-hmm.
That's why other people protested back in the 40s for the Social Security. They're like, I don't want to be a number. I am a person. Yeah. I don't want to be a number. They protested against Social Security numbers. And now
you should
remember your number. I know my number by heart. This is what your parents tell you when you're a little kid. I don't know if other parents tell them, but when we were kids, our parents tell us, memorize your number. Why do we have to memorize our number? We have a name. We have a life. We're not a number. But are we? Are we a number? Are you a number? Are you just some
Well, I have
number?
one. I have one, so I am. Yes, I'm a number to somebody.
To the system, right?
I mean, I'm sure they have. They have my name, my number, my phone number, my address, my nickname or aliases. I'm sure they have like the percentage of time on different websites that I go on. I'm sure they have, like most extreme search history, top five or something like that. And I mean, people can get things on them that are like 87 pages. The average person just doesn't look at it unless you do something that they need to look at you. So it's like this dirt. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I don't like this idea that they're just holding dirt on you. Oh, who are you? And it's like,
I
oh,
think
what
that's
if
what
you
they
can't
did
find
for a
any
long
dirt?
time, though.
If they're just a saint, well, you'll just make up dirt. You just make it up anyway because you have everything.
I think that's what they've done for a long time. And I think a lot of people just complied about stuff because they're like, oh, I don't want to be found out that I'm a blah, 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 or I did blah, blah, blah once, or I was drunk, or something like that. But I think the fact is, this is all going to come back to bite them in the ass because trying to expose everybody to everything at some point, some person's going to be like, I don't give a shit what I did. You can't hold me on anything. Yeah, sure, whatever. I drove 215 miles an hour and nobody caught me. Whatever. I don't give a shit. Could I have done something? Yeah, I didn't.
Well,
So I'm
innocent
cool.
until
So
proven
how are you gonna?
guilty.
So how are you gonna do anything about it, huh? Yeah, fuck you. Fuck off. You can't do shit about that. And then
I
they'll
mean,
be
it
like,
is,
we can't do
but
anything
that's
to
the
him
thing.
because he.
American law.
I can't.
American law is based on morality, but it doesn't like feed into morality. And the idea that it's like
Mm-hmm.
if you run away from the crime and you don't get caught, you're not guilty.
You're not doing the time. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not
No,
like
we've
I
had
mean
plenty of discussions about this kind of thing too, and it's like they can't get you on certain things. They can't hold you for a double crime, right? They can't come back later on if they acquitted you of something to grab you for something else. They can't do that.
there's no evidence of it. They basically can't convict you of it, even if it seems like it.
Yeah.
But it's like, but if you say you didn't do it and they don't have like any proof of it, I mean they're just you know what I mean? Like
I guess we're coming
that's why
into the
there's so
idea
many
of
like
like what legality means here and what we could talk about legal systems go because we're still sort of on the way Roe v. Wade, but we're kind of transitioning to that fact that
I mean,
what
you hit a
legal
kid in the middle of the
means.
night. You hit a kid in the middle of the night or something. Well, I guess it'd be weird if they're out, but or let's not say a kid then, because that's weird. You hit a person like that movie back in the day in the middle of the night, and nobody sees you.
What happened
It's
last
very,
summer?
it's yeah, it's so
Did I
tempting to
did I
think
really
about. Like,
find out that scene? Because I was,
I mean,
yeah. What
I
happened
know what you
last
did.
summer?
I know what you did last summer.
I know what you did last summer. Yeah. But the guy would actually, honestly, in my mind, would be justified to think what he thought, because
I
nobody
think
came to his aid, nobody helped him out,
I
and
think in the
the only justice
1920s,
he could get
almost
was. But it's
every
still
person would
horrifying,
stop.
and I honestly I don't approve of that. But
You hear? In the 1920s, almost every person would stop. But now,
oh yeah,
people think I have so much at stake to lose. You know what I mean? And they just drive. Like no one would know. They just drive. You know what I mean? Like why not? Just drive. Person doesn't even know who hit him. You know what I mean? Like I think a lot more people would. I wouldn't. I'd get out and try to help, but I think a lot more people like they were fine. It's best that I just they'll call. Everybody has a cell phone. They'll call. That's
I
the way people think nowadays. They'll think like it's
but
gonna be
yeah
worse
yeah
if I
yeah we've
stop.
we've
Like
been kind of.
they'll take my license and
I
I
think the
drive for a
fact
living.
is, I think the fact is we're being led into this idea that somebody else will do it, and that comes back to the Homer Simpson thing. can't somebody else do it? It's a part of
Yeah.
media that actually promotes the idea of stupidness or not being familiar with other people, not caring, not helping, not whatever. And then you see everybody with just their cell phones is like, I'd help out, but I'm recording for posterity's sakes so that everybody gets. You're not doing shit. You're not helping the person. You're not helping them save their lives. You're just recording them die. Slowly die because you want to be famous, because you think that it didn't happen to me. And that's what we have with the alpha generation. And that's kind of how media and most people have trained them to be, which is sad AF, according to that, because we've trained them to be that way. Just record it. Somebody else that's professional will come upon doing it. Well, they're not going to come upon doing it while you're sitting there recording it, dummy. They won't fucking do that because you haven't sent them any message. You haven't. You don't care. You're just sitting there recording it for your own posterity to say, hey, I was a part of it. No, you were just recording it for your own personal pleasure and your own personal gain. So you could put it out on YouTube. You could put it out on BitChute or Vimeo or whatever and gain something off of that. It came down to just you and using someone else's suffering. This is what people aren't taught anymore. We're not taught morality. Why are we not taught morality? Because we have overpopulation. There's too many people. Might as well kill them all off. They don't exist anymore. And that's why Thanos was right. We should kill off half the population because there's just too many fucking people, right? Yeah.
I don't like that plan.
I'm just saying. That's the thing.
I'm pretty sure I'd be sure to go.
That's the thing. And you know what? The two people that I thought would come down and did come down, and you might be like, oh, I'm all for feminism. I'm all for masculinism. Those two people came down and ended Thanos. Miss Marvel and Thor. And you might be like, I don't like the new Thor. I don't like it. Thor was a masculine guy. And you read the Viking ruins, you read a lot of the old Viking stuff, you'll see that Thor was not he was not for what was considered his, Odin as his father. He was the most powerful entity in Viking lore. The most powerful masculine entity. Doesn't matter what you read about Odin. Nobody would contend Thor. Nobody. Not a single person. Not even Odin himself. They were weak to him. Thor was the most powerful man in Viking rune. Bar none.
You mean Odin?
No. Thor.
Wait, Thor's stronger than Odin?
Thor was the most powerful entity in the Viking lore. Odin was considered the war god, which would promote people to come to Valhalla and all that. But you read actual Viking lore, you'll understand Thor as the real man. Nobody, not even Loki or Odin, would want to contend with him. Nobody. He was the most powerful person. And you look at Miss Marvel.
Well, look how they make Thor in the Marvel.
And she has nuclear energy within inside of her, and she is just so immensely powerful. But that's the thing, man. That's what we are. Men are comedians.
Look how they make.
Yeah,
look how they make Thor so complacent.
But that's a fact, is man. We're men are comedians at heart. We love to joke around and just have fun. We do that.
I think
you
that
I
think
and sure, maybe they try to throw a bit of complacency in there, but he goes up against Hulk, even in some of the later movies.
But I'm saying I think that whole idea of men are comedians is another one of those indoctrination type style things. Men are supposed to be the upholders of the family, and
I
like
know that. I know that.
we're
But I'm
really
just
not.
saying,
We're really
like,
not supposed to be
we
comedians.
do a lot of
I mean,
we
I
do a
started
lot of
watching The
comedic
Wonder Years
stuff.
again, and one of the things that I love is when he said my dad would just go in the other room and like you knew not to bother him, and I was thinking like,
That's like the
man,
'70s show
like,
with Red. You know, you don't mess with Red, right? You know.
but like even the kids, and I was thinking about that. I was like, that would be cool if my kids like knew not to bother me. But they're also well behaved, They
Yeah.
just wanted to be simple and figure things out, not chaotic and run around and
But I'm just
constantly say,
saying,
"What's this?" and then touch it and break it and be like, "Oh, I guess I don't know what it'll ever be."
okay, if we're going to talk about
TikTok.
if we're going to talk about families and masculinity and femininity, because it does make a place in here as far as Roe v. Wade and all that is concerned. I think men do have a comedic value because you look at any other kind of comedian that's mostly feminine or whatever, and it doesn't sell as much. Why does it not sell as much? Because the majority doesn't relate to it.
Yeah,
Sales
but
and things, as far as they're concerned, you're trading value for value, right?
okay,
They
I
don't
gotta, I
mean
gotta.
much. They don't mean much if they're not relatable.
That's
That's
because men's comedy is based on things that are basically ironic, things that are in this world that probably shouldn't be. Women's comedy is based on things that annoy them.
that's why even when my mom comes to me sometimes, I'm just an example. My mom comes to me with sometimes of things of comedic value that she thinks is comedic to her, but she doesn't laugh about it. She doesn't even smile about it. She just
Because
tells
it
me
annoys her.
because she just yeah, exactly. She just tells me it's something that is funny to her, but it doesn't mean anything to me. I was like, what is the meaning behind this? Like, what am I? And she's
It
like,
sounds annoying to me.
but you'd understand it if you're a woman. I'm like, would I? I don't know. It's just it doesn't have a universal appealance to it. You know what I'm saying? And
But
that's
they've
where
changed all that. That's what I'm saying in general, that you've changed. Does my camera have stabilizers? No, I guess not. I thought it just didn't think it when I hit
you're
my name
very
on it.
white compared to me. I'm very yellow. I look extremely yellow. I'm like all yellow and orange and stuff. I wish I could come out more my actual color here, but I look more like Brad. I had to say. Well, you're wearing a white shirt, dude. What do you want me to say?
Super white shirt.
Wah! Just expounding upon your color there.
As I said, if anybody knows what game this is, hit me up. I'll
Clash
play with you.
of no, not Clash of Clans.
Like Clash of Clans,
Clan of
Summoners
Clashes.
War.
Summoners War. I always thought it was the opposite of
I'm getting a little bit back and forth on it now. I can't really get like any better because, that involves more work and or money or both. I don't feel like really putting that into it.
That's the thing that I
I
think
just
that, dude, you just reminded me upon that.
I just want luck. I just want luck. That's all I want. Just be super lucky.
What if our
I want
lives were based upon, you know, how liberty and justice for all? That's kind of what we're based upon is freedom and justice. But the fact is, people don't think about this. Is freedom and justice conflicting? Yes, they are. You can't have complete freedom if you have justice. Why? Because you have rules. So having rules means you can't have complete freedom. So if other people are coming to look at our culture and be like, they have complete liberty, no, they have laws. And if you read their constitution, they can't have complete freedom. There is no such thing as complete freedom. If there was a complete freedom society out there, I'm pretty sure they would destroy themselves before 12
Well, what
p.m.
culture was
and
it
it'd be over.
that legalized all the drugs and now they have like some of the lowest drug problems? It's some South American country.
I was going to say Sweden or
No,
Scandinavia,
no,
but
no. I'll have to look it up. I'll look it up quick. I'll see if it still holds true because it's been like
is
a
it
couple
is
of years
it
since I.
is it alt is there any alt media contesting it? Because the fact is people say, oh, media, it can't be true. The fact is, if everything is government state funded, you're not going to know any other opposition. So if something bad happens, it's going to be swept under the rug. And that's a
It was like
bad thing. You can't have that in a rational society. You can't have things swept under the rug readily.
Portugal. It was Portugal. I thought it was Portugal, but I thought it was over in South America. And and I think like Portugal has like really low drug use. Say have a drug problem. I think they have like
Yeah, Altison's saying the same thing,
Portugal.
dude. You know, Brad,
Portugal
Brad
now has the
Reeves.
lowest drug-related death rate in the Western Europe. That's what I'm saying. You legalize everything, and then all of a sudden it becomes, you know, less used because, but it's not because it wasn't because they legalized it. It was because they transferred that money into pamphlets and understanding why, you know, overusing these heavy drugs is not only bad for your body, but it's gonna make you confused on like what's going on in the real world. Like you're being brainwashed by drugs. You don't
Mm,
realize it, but everything you do brainwashes you to some degree. Might be a good thing, might be the right thing, but you know, how do we know what we don't answer for God. So unless God
yeah,
personally talks to you, you know, a lot of these things that aren't directly from the Bible, you kind of have to interpret yourself. We were talking about that the other day, that's kind of the point. That you use the Bible as a reference, but it's not going to solve all of your everyday problems. You
that's a
have to
whole
decide
point.
yourself
That yeah,
what's
exactly,
morality.
exactly, Ben. And even Altison's saying right now, suddenly they know what a woman is again. And I
Right?
think
Yeah, that's what where were
maybe
you when
he
I already said that, man?
I think Altison, I think you're a little bit behind on the stream here, but
Yeah.
yeah, I honestly, yeah, that's the funniest thing ever.
It was great.
Here's the thing: politics. They'll complain and they'll cry and they'll whine about every little tiny detail, so that it suits themselves. And that's what we have with America.
Yeah.
But the
Well, that's
fact
the whole reason
is,
they did this.
the
The whole
fact
reason they
is,
did
you
this
have to remind
is because they know
everybody.
more people are pro-choice, and that pushes more Democrats into favor. That's the only reason you did it.
You have to remind everybody liberty and justice for all. Liberty means freedom. Justice means laws. They both conflict with each other. If you don't do
Still think
both of them, you're just going to have absolute chaos. You have to have laws. And that's what people don't understand. Especially like Chinese, Japanese, people from Asian places come over. They're just like, oh, they got liberty. They can
I
do
re-
whatever they want. They're all toting guns. They're all going with AK-47s in the air. Boom, 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 and they're just shooting shit off everywhere. No, we're not doing that all the time. We have
I,
laws.
re- I read
We
this.
can't
I
do
read this
that
great
whenever
meme.
we want to do. We can only do so much here. And other people come over to this place, they just think it's just insane. It's not. We have laws.
I read
That's
this
why
great
we
meme. They
do
said
go. Uh,
it said
Go ahead. Sorry.
somewhere there is a 2-year-old whose mother is a stripper, father is a crackhead, and grandfather is the president of the United States. That's great. I thought that was good. And it's true. Like it's weird to think about, but that is true.
Why does that crack me up
It's
so
prob-
much?
I mean, you think about imagine, but he'll never bounce her on his knee, you know? That whole family is a mess.
Yeah.
What a mess they are.
What a masterpiece.
Yeah. It's I think I don't know if it was true or not. Maybe it was just another one of the fake news, but did Pelosi's husband actually get a DUI?
um, Pelosi.
Maybe it was fake. Maybe it was fake. It's probably that tixing. Nope. Nope.
Like you
That's
were
2 days
talking
ago. Yeah.
here's the thing.
Yep.
This
Yep.
is
Finally charged with a DUI in Napa County. That's great.
what
Good. A little bit of justice.
what we've wanted for a long time was to have
Now we
liberty and
just need Alec
justice.
Baldwin. We want Alec Baldwin to be arrested. for the
Ex-
murder of whatever the other
exactly.
person's
We
name
we did
was.
this
But
gigantic witch hunt over what's his face? The
shame. It's a
kid,
shame. I
the
know the
kid
name
from
of the murderer, but I don't
Kenosha.
know the name of the
You know, the kid from
victim.
Kenosha. We did this giant witch hunt for the kid with Kenosha, but yet again, Alec Baldwin, a famous actor, says, "I might shoot you," and says it was a ghost trigger. That's why I made my Battle Brothers thing with Alec Baldwin, the ghost gun, an extra character in my game, because apparently the trigger pulls itself. He just shot, his producer. I'm just.
And
It
I gotta
doesn't
tell
make any
you what
sense.
else
You're
too.
for this
You
side,
know,
you're in the clear.
I got
It
something else.
doesn't matter. You
It's
can
funny.
do no
It's funny.
wrong. You can do anything you want.
You
You can shoot somebody in the
you brought
face and you're fine because you're on our side. This is why we can't
you
have
brought you reminded me of something.
sides. We
You
can't have
remind me of
sides.
something.
It doesn't make any
And Amber Heard.
damn sense.
Amber Heard. I feel so bad for that person. Listen, I get it. She did something wrong and stupid, tried, messing up Johnny's life. I'm sure it was somewhat mutual. But regardless to
Amber
all that,
Turd is going to be the next thing that you're going to see in the future,
but
though.
that's what I'm saying. It's so annoying. It's like, I get it. Like, so she's not a great person. Then leave her alone. But no, nobody can ever do that. Everybody has to always.
Because she
It's just,
started
it's
the
simping.
because
It's
the
still
fact is
simping.
she started the Me Too thing. So now it's turned into Me Poo. Because she started the Me Too thing. I was assaulted by this
But
guy.
don't.
Oh my
But don't.
gosh.
Yeah,
It's
but
so
don't stoop to the
horrible.
same level. That is the whole point. Now she is basically being assaulted by the whole world.
Because they're bad people. That's why they stoop to that level. Bad
And
people
who are you to
stoop to
judge?
bad
That's the whole point.
levels
That's the whole
because
point.
they're
And just don't
horrible,
associate with
horrible
them. Don't
people.
associate with them. Don't associate with them.
Sure, but they still want to be like promoted.
But
That's
it's
why
but
she's
it's but it's
canceled.
amazing how people are like they're
Because it
so
comes down to
judgmental when
money. If it
somebody did
was,
something wrong. I can say whatever I want about that person. I think I'm some saint upholding that I can say whatever I want about that person who did something wrong. I'm sad and sick of that. If you want to be a better person, move on. Another victory, move on. You know, keep it rolling. Clarence Thomas wants to, try to now end gay marriages. Again, it's like, he's on this role of trying to be a very, very conservative, valued person. That's what people want. Stop wasting your time complaining about, how or figuring out how many more funny memes you can make with the same one lesbian's face. You know,
yeah,
it's like it's time to grow up, people. It's time to start being a little more serious. It's time to put your big boy pants on and stop figuring out
exactly.
how to be
You know
funny.
how Morgan
Adding
Freeman
com
said you have to
yeah,
pull yourself up by the
but
bootstraps? That was the
but
that
adding
was the boomer
adding
way of
comic
saying
relief,
put on your big boy pants. Exactly. That was the same exact thing.
but
Morgan Freeman was saying the
adding
same thing you are saying right now.
adding comic relief but not solving the problem is just being a hypocrite.
Hmm.
If you're gonna add comic relief, you better also be the same person cleaning those gutters.
That's a problem we see with most of these high end. I don't want to say particular names, but I'm
But
going to go
if
ahead and say like Steven Crowder and stuff like that. They want to
okay,
stay
and if you're
relevant to certain situations based upon their power level, and they're only concerned with the numbers that they've gained because of the people that follow them. But the fact is, they could have bots that follow them for all we know. We don't even know who these
well,
people are that are
you become
following.
so
We don't
obsessed
they
with
don't
it all.
have any that's a reason why Elon Musk was saying we need to have registered people that know if these are actual people or additional bots because it makes sense. Why have fake people follow you and then act like you're actually popular? That's some actual A-level
Well,
bullshit.
and it's not just that. It's not just that, but call it out now before you start having this idea that you can put
Exactly.
anybody on the map because you just decided, oh, they're so funny. Put them on the map because you gave them 30 million people suddenly, and then you know what I mean. Nobody's gonna notice because you can even have
I
it
got
tailored where if
30,000
you're,
subscribers. Look at me. I'm popular. Yeah, boom. It happened in 2 seconds. Fuck
yeah, and
that
it's
shit.
nobody.
Come on.
You
That
just
doesn't make any
well,
sense.
that's
It's
it.
not even
But
realistic
it's
numbers.
also it's no different than YouTube though. Oh, I put $100 in for more people to view me, and I got 1,000 views. But did you? Or did you
And that's
just
the
get
whole
them
thing.
to bump
They
us
took
out?
out the likes. I even made a video about this. I made a video, dude. I recorded the fact that they took out the dislikes as soon as the White House got super unbelievable dislikes on their videos for the whitehouse.com for YouTube. Altison's saying the current POTUS's followers are 60% bots. That's what Elon Musk is saying. And the fact is, even if you're following the numbers, even if you're following the money, whatever, you're going to see the truth no matter the circumstance because you're going to see it.
But it seems like
You're just going to
Elon's
see
really
it.
going to follow
And
through with his deal. I really thought he was always going to pull out. I thought this whole thing was just to get
I
Twitter to
think
have to
there's,
kind of admit a bunch
yeah,
of shit,
I
and he's
think
going to
there's
pull
some
out.
things with
But it seems
Elon
like
that
he's
is a
not. It
little
seems like
bit
he's willing
like,
to actually buy it. I'm not sure why.
but
I mean,
I
he
think,
uses it. He uses a lot. So a tech giant that has is also tech media. I
I
mean, he
think
can
Elon
definitely utilize
is.
it in talking with
I think
people.
Elon's in the
And
same perspective that I am. He's got the Asperger's, and he
I
wants
think
to.
he'll launch
He
Twitter to
he
be a
he
whole different level of like sub
he
chats,
wants there to be some
almost like Reddit,
truth to the world
like
in
a
the
better Reddit.
perspective. Yes, a better
Like
Reddit, a better Twitter, a actual working reality of society and the way
yeah,
things should be
allowing people to
instead of
conversate with
fake
multiple people.
shit happen. Because yeah, you're always going to have, the people that are going to love you and all that. That makes sense. You're going to have people that are going to promote you for something, this or that. But there's always people out there like myself and like yourself that are going to want to make the world better. And not better for a sense of this is for me, better for a sense of this is for me, you, and everybody else that's here.
Right? There's
Because
a lot of people who want to make it. This is better for me. They just want to make the world this better for me.
and
How can
that's
I
all
drill
that
more oil? And
exactly. That's why you see things like when Biden comes out and he says America's back. He's not saying America's back because America's back. He's saying America's back because he wants to drum on the same shit that he's seen for 50 years. Go back to war with Saudi Arabia. Make sure that we make the dollar the oil dollar. Let's take
and it's
away
not
from the
working
gold
anymore.
standard and go to the oil standard. Let's go back to war.
But they're
Oh no,
destroying the electric
Russia, blah, blah,
vehicle.
blah. Why did all this shit happen? You look at other games, like other people look at other games, like even I play, and they downtrot Iskalios so much. They're like, Iskalios is such a horrible country because their leader's a tyrant. Why is their country so bad? Their leader's a tyrant. Does anybody else get blamed? No, just the tyrant leading the country. Why did it go to hell? Why is it a bountiful country that's taking a turn for the underside? Why is it going downhill? Because her leader's a tyrant. It doesn't have anything to do with any of the other players within the country.
Well, it trickles down to businesses. You screw over one set of businesses, and those businesses have to screw over their employees, and the employees.
My point is when they try to come to a monarchy, now it has to do with the king, the queen, whatever. It doesn't have to do with anything else. So, if we're going to look at this country and we're thinking that it's based upon a monarchy, it's the guy in charge. That's the person that's screwing
That's what they
everything
certainly
up.
seem to want to make it like. It's not supposed to be like that here, but that's what they seem to want to make it like.
And I don't want it to be that. I don't want to have an
I mean,
oligarchy for what we have for our system here.
As far as I understand it, if you said let's abolish the Supreme Court, like you're borderline terrorist. You're borderline. Yeah, that's a fundamental of how our
But the
structure
fact
of
is,
government is set up.
Here's how the fundamental
The
United
judicial branch
States
is
started
the
itself.
key.
They wanted to do three things. They wanted a kingship, a judicial system,
And a lawyer
and a
and a lawyer group.
democracy where people control
Yeah.
it, and there's judges that are smart, intelligent, and above. Well, they have above intelligence to be able to do what they want, and a monarchy. So we combined all three into our system that we have today, and so people are like, we should get rid of the electoral college. No, that was the whole point of making sure that we are actually free. If if one state was absolutely batshit insane, they're gonna be like, nah, we're not gonna listen to that shit. We're gonna go with this idea over here because they're stupid
It
and we're
regulates a
smart.
peaceful. But again, you see that
Yeah.
where, you know,
That's the whole point of the electoral college. That everybody is like, I'm against it. No, 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 no. The just read everything that has to do with the beginnings of our state and the beginnings of our world as we know it. Whether you believe in, the Masons or you're against them or whatever, they put together a really decent beginning for a constitution and a diplomacy. Everything is well built. There's not much that you can build upon. It's done
yes,
very
if you
well.
try to take away from one, you're going to definitely totter the whole system.
Yeah. And there's so many progressives out there that be like, I want to go and do everything I want to do and blah 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 blah. It's just like, are you
Well,
insane?
they
Come
probably are a little
on.
bit, and it's not their fault. It's not their fault. You know, they were raised up that way. It's
Okay,
not my fault. I don't know if I know anything. I'm raised up a certain way.
I understand, but I'm just saying, like, if you're looking at politics, look into the past, do your historic. Like you and I understand that from a historical perspective, that we need to look into our look. We need to look into our
I certainly know
past.
that historical perspective of Rome. As soon as Rome got promiscuous and crazy and weird, they fell.
E-
You know,
exactly.
and would America think they're invincible or something?
They just
You know,
decided whatever, it doesn't matter. But the fact is, as soon as you say whatever, it doesn't matter, everything falls apart because some other country's going to come over and look at you and say, you don't even care anymore.
I think everybody just
We're
needs to
taking you
try to,
over.
you know,
It's not even you don't even care. There's nothing
yeah.
there for you to protect. And so, therefore, you also think there is nothing to protect. And you give up.
I mean, once Canada's given all their guns, should we just like invade them?
That's the whole thing. The CIA, the FBI, you can look into this. They've already made plans to take over Canada. And you can look into other games that I've even played, like Front Mission and other things. And it eventually turns into a
I mean, you heard Trudeau. He
UCS
literally,
UCS United Central States versus the other countries out there. Altison, you're here. You know what I'm talking about. United
you
Central
heard when
States versus everything else, and it's literally all of Canada, all of all of America, all of South America as being United Central States. We win against Canada and South America, and we fight against Europe and SAFTRA or Russia and every
I
other
mean,
country.
Trudeau
They
said,
can't win, dude. They're too weak. This is what it comes down to. They're too weak. They're too weak. That's the whole point.
Trudeau, Trudeau said to his people, he said, you have the right to, you know, use the gun for hunting, you know, and like protecting or like killing animals, you know, and hunting for sport. And he said, but you don't have the right to use it for self-protection. No. You don't have the right to use a gun for self-protection. No. So if they have a
This is
gun,
the stupidity of
you
people
just
that
die.
just
You just
end up
die.
believing everything that they're told. You don't
If
have
they
the
have a
right to
gun and
defend yourself in case you were raped or you had to defend yourself. I mean, how much BS can
I
a
mean,
person take besides being completely brainwashed into believing it right off the
I
bat?
mean, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but personally, I believe Trudeau is Castro's kid, or yeah, Fidel Castro's kid. I mean, I'm sorry, but he just looks so much like him. just looks so much
And
like him.
that's the thing. Like even Altison's saying, like there's shitty people out there. That's true. Like what I've been saying too. There's a lot of us want to believe that there's good people out there. There are good people out there. There's a lot of good people out there, like myself,
But
Brad, and,
there's a
and,
lot
and a
of
lot
people
of other
there's a
good
lot of people out
people.
there that don't know any better either. That
And
just can't learn.
also, I was gonna say, you jumped into my topic there. You finish off what I was gonna say, but good job. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are good that just don't understand the truth because they've been told never to listen to this other side, and I have a friend that will not listen to anything on the other side. And it's like, dear God, why do you wish to live in a bubble? I don't know why this person wishes to live within the bubble, but he chooses to do so. Still to this day, even if I give him information and be like, "Hey, this is from your source. Watch this." You're going to see that it's what you're going through is absolutely insanity. And it'll be like, nope, not going to listen to anything on that side. This is why this is why it's politically wise for people that are not government, we need not to be party members. We need to do what we do based upon the information we gain from both sides to understand the best way forward. And this is what ends up happening. We become tribal. And tribalism is the worst thing ever. Because when you become tribal, you're like, I only go blue. I only go red. You don't listen to anything on the other side. You could be completely wrong with something.
Ever think that music maybe brainwashes people? The tone of the music actually sets people into like
It's funny, Streets of Rage 4 actually, that's the whole point of the game. Streets of Rage 4, which I actually showcase almost every Friday on my stream, is about that. Yeah, exactly.
interesting.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it, but it's like just the pitches. I mean, I thought about that they put high pitched frequencies in programs and stuff, video games and stuff. Like you don't hear them, but they're like they say things subliminally. You just don't even hear them. They're very high pitched but they say things in really high pitched tones that you don't hear. But
I think
your
this
brain
whole
would still
thing about backtracking that they used to do in the 70s where they used to write music backwards. And I know it sounds convoluted, but I think it actually was real because you could actually hear real sentences actually said backwards, promoting marijuana with Led Zeppelin and some other things like that. It's like, that's strategic and
But
phenomenally.
it's so weird though
Wow,
because
that is like
you get you get
that's perfect.
you get
You could do
Stairway
that.
to Heaven and Stairway to Heaven, which is weird because it talks about Stairway to Heaven is so evil and dark backwards. However, you get Highway to Hell and you put that backwards
It
and it's
says,
talking about
"I am
Yahweh and
Yahweh."
stuff.
Yeah,
Like
I know. Oh my
it's
gosh,
so
Altazin,
weird.
don't worry. You're not a shitty person. Don't worry about it, man. That's the thing. That's what Jesus even said to say. What did Jesus have to say? Blessed are you that believe in me, even though the rest renounce me, right? Didn't he say that?
Maybe. I don't
Blessed are you
sounds like
that
something he would say, but I don't want to.
that believe in me, even
I don't know
though
that.
the world renounces me. Now, what does it have to say? What does it have to say about people as a whole? What does it have to say about you, myself, everybody else? Basically, it means that we are loved for those that actually care about the majority of people here. We love people, and as we love people, we are loved because we actually care about the world. This is what we're doing here. This is what we Are Aquarius are about. We're here to care about the other people that are in the world. We're here to care about you myself, Brad, everybody else that's out there, we're here to care about everybody because we actually care about you. This is what the media doesn't care about. They only care about what they got in their pocketbook, what they got in
But
their
whoever disowns me
system.
before others, I will disown before my Father in heaven.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one Matthew 10:33. Does that be it?
Yeah. How much
I
does
don't know. I think
Jesus
they lie.
have to actually say when he had to talk about us as a whole? He basically said there will always be poor. Why did he say that? Why would
Because
Jesus why would
because
Jesus have to say there's always going to be poor?
because
Why
the
does it
earth
mean
is sin.
because
The
we're
earth
not on
is
a
sin, man. That's the
yeah,
whole point.
we're not on a planet that we can actually cure. We're on a planet that we have to actually help each other out with.
So, yeah.
It's not going to be just oh, I punched my ticket and I'm good. No, it's I have to be there every day. Oh my dear Lord,
Yeah.
I got to be there every day? Yeah, you got
People
to be there
people
every
shit
day?
sometimes
Every
3 times
day?
a day.
Yes, every day,
And if
three
they if
times a
they can't
day.
clean themselves, that means you got to clean them 3 times.
3 times a day. You don't have you don't
But
have you don't have
imagine if
time.
people stop
You,
having all these meaningless
you can only
jobs that are
help
just.
you can only help as much as you can help, man. And some people can help more than others. That's what Jesus talked about, the talents and all that. Go ahead,
I'm saying,
Brad.
like, if we had a government that we didn't have to worry would mess everything up. Imagine if we could stop having, like, you know, competing grocery stores so they all buy and waste food prices, and the government just runs and organizes it super efficiently and properly, where we basically make what we all need to eat. And I mean, you can obviously, some things would probably still go to waste in the end of the system, but you could probably find ways around it. With good cooks, they could always know how to turn the next batch into the next thing. I mean, if we had a government that actually cared about being efficient in things and not so like, let me hear your proposal. Yeah, we'll give you money. The thing is, that's what I mean. Like, but we can't anymore. We went with the idea of a freedom, and we don't want the kingship because we know that there is no leader that's smart enough that won't end up being like, if you disagree with me, then I'll just have to make sure you're executed. Because I know, but it's like Elon Musk, you know what I mean? What would happen if Elon Musk ran for president? Probably couldn't, because I don't think he could handle the fact that certain people would be like, we can't take you, you're reject. I mean, I'm sure he can, physically handle it, but I'm saying it would be too much. He can't please everybody. You can't. It's not possible to please everybody.
That's the thing.
Is
That's
what
the
I'm saying.
reason why he decided to. And you look at him like he's a horrible person. I understand he's trying to do things for robotics and other things like that. But the fact is, he's almost like he's in a sense. I understand, like me, in a sense, like he's trying to be. And people will laugh at it. And
I
it's
think he just, yeah,
autistic.
like, I
He's in
only have
this
so much time on
autistic.
the earth.
He's in this autistic realm where he's trying to help everyone. But the fact is, you can't. You can't always help everyone. And as much as you want to, it doesn't always, work in that sense because, you know,
I
you're
asked the
trying
other
to
day.
help people that don't have arms or don't have limbs or something like that. And I can't say his ulterior motive, but I can say that it seems like he's trying to help in a sense. Now, is he perfect? Look at all of us. Look at yourself. Look at me. I can't. It's there's so much revenge that I want to get upon people.
Yeah, he just looks at it like,
It's just not
I
going to
could
be
die in a car
absolutely
accident.
perfect, but
I want to make sure
like you
that
want to
I've done what
do.
I can do until then.
Yeah, you can do what you can do, and I think he's trying to be a good person, but also he's trying to make money. So you try to go ahead and say,
Well, you need money to be
what?
able to make the
What
next
kind
better
of per?
invention to help better make better people.
Yeah, but
You need
that's
that.
that's what it comes down to, you know. Uh, Alton says most people who are struggling are shitty people because they have to just get by. Only the rich and privileged have the choice of good. Our only option is to survive.
Pretty bleak.
It is a bit bleak, but it is also the fact of life. When you hit a hard rock, you feel it. If you walk upon a path, you stumble. This is a Jesus saying, I'm just going to go ahead and just make my own Jesus saying. I'm just going to go with it. Um, you walk upon a path, you hit a hard rock, you feel it. It hurts. You stop, you feel the pain, you grab your toe. Oh, does it hurt? You can't move forward. There's another person that was going to do the same thing that you were going to do. They end up getting there before you because you hit your toe in a rock in the dirt. And now you can't sell the same thing that you were going to get there. You're ahead of them. They were behind you to some degree. You never knew they were there. And now they can sell the thing that you were going to sell. You had an amazing pizza bread, Brett. You had amazing pizza bread you were going to sell. This other person gets ahead of you because you hit your foot in the dirt and it caused you immense pain, stopped you for an hour, and they were ahead of you.
But the question is,
now you are behind them.
did that other guy throw that rock there so I would stub my toe?
Now that's the thing I didn't think about. But the fact is, what if it's just okay? What if it's just a random?
What if that guy
What
stubbed
what
his
if
toe earlier,
what
but dealt
what
through
if
the
it's just
pain?
okay? But what if it's just a random rock, and you can't?
No
You
foul play
couldn't.
involved. All right.
No foul play. You couldn't have foreseen it, and they just random luck gave them the everybody inspiration. There's just like, oh my gosh, this pizza's so good. I got to go to this guy. And you're coming up behind him and you're like, hey, I got this awesome pizza recipe. And everybody else is looking at you like, nah, you're just copying this guy. Or it's, I've already had this awesome pizza. I don't know if I want to try you right now. I really, really, really like this pizza. And you have the same ingredients. What happens then?
I gotta be honest. Most pizzas are the same ingredients.
I understand, but, I'm just saying, like, what's the answer here? Because we're all gonna have, or most of us.
You were ahead. You should have put a rock on the sides around you so nobody would have gotten past you. It would have also, if you stub your toe, you gotta make sure everybody's stubbing their toe in the same hurdle.
See, I would have
Somebody
thought,
just strolled right
I
on
would have thought a
by. You would have thought, well,
completely
how'd they
different.
stroll on by?
I would have thought a
How'd
completely
they
different
stroll?
kind of thing here. I would
You
have
would have thought
thought,
to fight through the pain.
I would have
People,
thought,
obstacles come all the time.
okay, we have the same kind of pizza. I'm going to apply garlic to this pizza, or lemon, or lime, or insert.
Lemon or lime on the pizza.
Yeah,
I could maybe get behind that, but
I
as long
love
as
it.
it's done real right,
I, I,
you got to
I,
brush it with
I
like
love it.
a lemon and garlic,
Some
almost
people say
aioli butter, like
pineapple
butter
is
sauce,
like,
all infused,
uh,
and brush that all around the whole brim of it. But you got to probably do that even after it's like maybe like 13 minutes in,
okay,
depending
I
on the
would have tried
temperature.
something. I would have tried something different though, but just to keep
'Cause
ahead of
you can't
things. But here's the thing: it's mentality. What do
lemon and
you
cheese.
think? This is psychology here. I already did pretty well in my old psychology class. This psychology class, I think it depends on the teacher, but honestly, I think it depends upon the person in a lot of sense. What would you do with other people being involved in your life? And how are you right or are you wrong? Now, I could admit maybe I've been wrong on some stuff, but I could also admit maybe I have been right. Maybe
wow, you could admit that maybe you've been wrong on stuff,
but
you could definitely admit that you have been right.
That's the whole point. But here's the whole thing: what if the point was maybe you are wrong and maybe I'm right with this whole scenario here? Because that's what it comes down to when it comes down to pineapple pizza. And even Allison's saying, wrong pizza is those ingredients. Anything else is excessive. Okay.
That comes. You know what? I got a question for you, Altison.
Mushrooms,
does it contain
pineapple?
meat?
Here's the thing. I can't do pineapple and mushroom. I gotta do one or the other. I can't do both because mushroom and pineapple are two extremely different things. I can't do both. I'm going this way. I'm going this way.
My daughter loves, and it's actually really good, pepperoni, anchovies, and mushrooms. All three of them. It's good. A little salty, but man, it is good.
Yes. I haven't tried
pepperonis, anchovies,
I've
and
tried
mushrooms.
A smaller kind of fish, but not anchovies. But I could be.
Like I said, it's a little salty, the whole thing, but
it
makes
yes,
it really
it's
good.
very salty. I think the smallest fish I've tried started with an H.
But I want to know. Does lasagna contain meat, or is lasagna the pasta, cheese, and sauce, and meat is added? If somebody says lasagna on a menu,
it's all meat.
If somebody says lasagna in the menu, should you assume there's going to be meat in it?
It's all meat. Is the lasagna, spices, cheese, meat, lasagna, spices, cheese, meat, lasagna, spices, blah, blah, blah. Mostly just a 2-time thing, but yeah.
Lasagna doesn't contain meat. You need to call it lasagna with meat. Lasagna is just a pasta, cheese, and sauce. Just like a pizza. Pizza doesn't contain pepperoni.
Dude, I went to Ireland and lasagna was with meat. There was a lasagna.
I don't care. Lasagna is Italian.
It doesn't matter. When you go to other countries, everybody thinks.
I've been to America and had Guinness. You don't see me talking about how great it was.
Okay, but the fact is, when you go to Ireland...
You can go to Russia and have McDonald's. Wait, not anymore.
You haven't been to Russia. Don't tell me about that. I've been to Ireland. I've been to Germany. I've been to other places as well.
I've been to the Cayman Islands.
Okay, I haven't been there.
Dominican Republic.
I haven't been there. Been
to Canada.
I will tell you the truth. Yes, I've been to Canada. It's a long time, but here's the thing. When you have lasagna in Ireland, in certain places, they'll have cheese, meat, and starches.
What sauce?
With spices in a bowl, and it will be amazing. It tastes amazing. It's essentially an American lasagna made for Ireland, made for anybody that travels there. That's essentially what it is. When you go to Ireland, guess what? Guess what, Brad? Guess what? You're drinking Guinness almost all the time if you're an adult, and that's how it is.
I love calm beers, though. I love a strong beer.
Here's the thing. Guinness in Ireland tastes different than it does in America. You know why?
Yeah, I've definitely heard that.
The water that was transferred to Ireland or the water that was transferred to the United States. That's what makes it different. And that's why when I was in Ireland, I drank Guinness almost all the time, except for the Red 13, which I actually liked for the beer for late at night. That was...
I'm in Dominican Republic. I drink Presidente all day.
That was good.
When I was in Spain, I drank Mahal all day.
Was it really, really good? Or was it just...
Presidente? I love Presidente.
See, that's what I'm saying. It comes down to the water. The water that was put into the beer, that was sent to the corporation, that's
It's
sent
true.
to
I don't really
you,
like
that you drank
Presidente
it
up
there,
here in the
and
United
you
States, but
drink
I
it
like
up here in
Presidente
America,
when
and
I'm
it
over
probably
there.
tastes different, right?
Yeah, it's true. I like Presidente when I'm there, but I don't necessarily like it over here.
Exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying, everybody. Boom. I'm done with my argument over water and how you can get it and where you can get it and what it comes from.
Water is different everywhere. My favorite water is Icelandic from Norway. The Olfus.
Whoa. Norway. Wrong
The
pizza
Olfus.
is those
Olfus
ingredients.
Springs.
Anything else is excessive. A lot of Italian foods are vegetarian. In America, we add meat to everything. That's a problem, man. That's a problem.
That's what I was trying to say.
That's a
Lasagna
problem.
should
That's
just
what we did
be
in Wisconsin.
the
You know what we did in Wisconsin is we added bacon to ice cream, and I'm like, you are freaking insane. You can't have
yeah, but I
bacon and
love
ice
making
cream because hardcore
I love
hot bacon and ice cream. It's gonna
now
taste
you
like
cook
stale
listen, you cook your
bacon
bacon.
and cold ice cream. It's gonna taste like lukewarm ice cream and hot bacon. You can't do that. The La
You
a la
cook your
mode
bacon,
only works with pies. That's
then you chop it up in little pieces, right? Nice and soft, not full. Like it's cooked, but you just barely, but it's cooked. Then you chop it up into little pieces. Then you make your donut dough. Then you throw it in the donut dough, let it all rise like nice. Then you fry it up. Now you got little bacon pieces inside your donut dough.
only Rob would actually like that shit.
Cut that in half and then take a scrambled egg, make it the old McDonald's way, flatten it out, fold it and whatnot. Throw that on there. Ooh, that breakfast is that's how you describe it. It is.
Yeah, that's I don't know, man.
Donuts and bacon go together.
Donuts and
Like
bacon. Yeah, I guess it kind of do, but the fact is, like, I've never.
the ultimate sweet and the ultimate salty
The only
mixed together.
time I know I'm such a stickler for this, but the only time I actually like bacon is with basic American breakfast, and that's you could say biscuits or toast with eggs and bacon. That's it. That's nothing else. Nothing else.
What about a
Single thing
BLT?
else.
Not a BLT?
Bacon
Really?
legs
Come on.
and mutton. I don't know.
You don't know what a BLT is? You don't know what a BLT is, do you?
Bacon, lettuce, and tomatoes.
All right, just gonna say, don't mess with me. But yeah, BLTs are delicious, man.
You haven't seen.
You don't always get them, but they're
You haven't seen the one movie as much as I have seen.
No,
Yeah.
I guess not.
Yeah, man. It's what is it?
It's that's for sure.
Alderson is
It's
saying BLT and anything more is excessive. Yes.
If you need like a
The
BBLT
Princess
then for
Bride.
the bread.
The Princess Bride. You remember the Princess Bride?
You could be like Koreans where they just wrap everything in lettuce though, and just your BLT is literally a BLT, and then it's just the lettuce for the bun. Koreans wrap everything in lettuce.
Actually,
I
that's
think they wrap their
probably
meat. They wrap their meat right in this. It's so good though.
That's probably the healthiest thing ever.
Yeah.
I'm
Right over
actually
an open fire.
Mm-hmm.
The Japanese do a little bit too. Like right over a little open. They have like little restaurants where it's like you just cook your meat right over. Take a piece of lettuce, like pick it up, eat it.
I'm actually on
Sounds
the
delicious.
I'm actually on the third day of my fast here. So I'm doing a liquid fast here, and if I get kind of hungry, I'll eat a little bit of something. I just have some cheese and some peanut butter left in my pantries here. But
You're eating the old-fashioned
I ate,
Mongolian diet.
yeah, I basically starving children in Africa make it look so easy. So I'm gonna go ahead and eat as small as I'm drinking. I have beer, I have soda, I have whatever liquid thing. It's basically a liquid diet. I'm gonna do it for 40 days. 40 days, 40 nights. I'm gonna try it for. I know Jesus did it, And if Jesus did it, it should work for
He
me.
didn't even have any peanut butter, man.
Well, I'll probably extend the days past that just so I can say, hey, I went 47 days.
I assume if you like
And guess
disappear for
what?
40
I'm
days,
still here.
you'd,
Yeah.
you'd
I
we
had
would see you
liquid
again
all
40
the
days later,
time. Boom,
and
boom,
you just look
boom.
like Jordan Peterson.
Well, yeah, he's 60, 70 years old. I think he's, 72 at this point?
And all I do is eat steaks. Steaks and water. And I
Does
never
he?
cheat.
Does he actually do the keto
I
thing?
like Jordan Peterson. He seems all right. I don't want to hate on him. No, he's like he's like a step above keto, bro. He does
Really?
like the just steaks and water. Yeah, he just eats like red meat and water.
That's what his daughter
it.
does too. I
Like,
actually
that's
kind
it.
of want to find out his daughter and ask her out. I would actually tell her like, "Wow, we are meant to be."
She'll be like, you eat nothing but red meat and water. I'd be like, no, but it sounds cool. She's like, oh yeah, it's a match made in heaven.
Well, I mean, if this is raid and red water, sure, I'll drink all that all day.
I know. It's a bummer. If beer's cut out of the category, I feel like it's probably not for me.
That's
I don't know how to
that's
assess
probably the
beer or
thing. That'd
anything like
be the
that,
most. That would be the most.
but I like it.
That would be. That would be the most.
Also, heavy cream. If a heavy cream's out of the diet, I'm probably not really into the
Sanctuary
diet.
thinks she actually does marry me.
I know she's
like,
watching this.
Wow, this is
She's
the
one of
most
the 4
amazing guy
subscribers.
ever. He drinks beer every day. He
She's like, he's
fasts as
mentioning
well
me.
as Jesus does. He can't be swayed from any political distraction,
He's
no
such a
matter
hero.
what. He is the most.
You're like a regular Gaston to all the girls, except for Belle.
Belle wants a beast. She can go fuck herself for all I care.
I know. You ever think about that? It's kind of weird.
Yeah. That's
A
the weirdest
beast.
thing. Bill wants
like, I'm
Belle
into that
wants a fantasy,
kinda
not
weird.
a future. That's the truth.
Turn-
That's the truth, Alderson. And you know what, Alderson? You know what makes sense? We already talked about this, Brad. But you know what makes sense? Fantasy, from a Disney perspective, wants fantasy. It doesn't want reality. It's delusional.
No, I agree with you.
You're
They love that delusional
You're
idea.
absolutely, truly perfective with saying that, because that's the
Belle
whole
was
point.
so
That's the whole
hot.
point. What we have for our reality right now for
Gaston
America.
wasn't a man enough for it. She had to go into the woods.
It was
and
gas
find, like, a
pressure. It
beastier-
was absolute
beastier
BS.
person than Gaston.
It had nothing to
Gaston
do
was
with
the
reality. It had absolutely nothing to do with reality. There was nothing about reality.
She's like, no, I need more.
Exactly. I'm sorry. I'm just.
Or
I literally haven't been eating anything at all. I've just been drinking. But I'm just saying, that's the truth about
yeah,
reality.
you can definitely tell you're a little buzzed.
Yeah, but I'm
But
trying
that's-
to tell you, and I can totally see this the next day. I'll watch those the next day. But this is what reality is based upon.
There it starts.
It's upon fantasy. It's about delusion. It's about Peter Pan and
Well, it's about making your fantasy into a reality, and the only way pedos can do that is by changing the law.
sure, yeah, but it's so
That's-
far.
If you have like a
Beyond.
listen, but that's the thing of it. Before pedos were random, so you know what they did? They creeped out people by staring.
That's the whole point.
But now you have the
And
internet.
that's what they
Now
wanted
they've
to do
organized.
for the longest time, and
And now
now
that
they
they've-
actually have LGBTQ. Blah, 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 blah,
Now they've organized, and when they
it
organize,
doesn't make any
they try to make a
goddamn
voice.
sense, because they're trying to incorporate all that crap into our reality to make us believe that that's normal. It's not normal. It's not normal to have uncles and aunts sexually predatorize you into believing that sex is normal with them. that's what they want. That's
Well,
what
it's
Disney
completely up to
has
the parent.
wanted for some times with this stupid crap that they've been pushing. It's absolutely insane. And we just go
As
upon
I,
it like, oh, that's what Disney
it
does.
it is
No,
insane,
no,
but
it's
that's what I'm saying.
horrible. We should
You can make it a
reject it at
law.
every single point in time.
Okay, so the
Fuck's
correct way to
sakes,
move
come
forward is
on.
you make it a law now, but Disney ceases to do what they're doing. Like you've done, you've made abortion, illegal in some states and whatnot. You make it a law. Disney ceases to do what they're doing, and they can't be in trouble for stuff that's done in the past. And you move forward. And if there's more crimes about it, you deal with it accordingly. I mean, that's the only real way to get morality back is by just pushing the envelope back, forcing people to do it. It might be indoctrination, but you know what? It's indoctrination just the other
It's
way.
not
You're forcing
indoctrination.
people.
It's basically looking at people like they're actual people. This is
Yeah, but
what
you're forcing
this
you're
this is
forcing
what
people to.
this is what people want you to believe. It's indoctrination, but it's not. It's actually letting people see reality for what it actually is. And this is where we're left. We're left with us looking at each other like we're delusional, we're crazy, we're off the grid, we're off the line, and we don't know what's going on. But the fact is, we do. We see it, we understand it. We're just like, this is just insane. Why are we going upon this? Why are we doing this?
You know what? But
And it's
I
just
think
like
with
it's just absolutely insane. Like, why would we do any of this kind of crazy crap? It doesn't make any sense. We're not trying to promote
I
this
think within like the next 6 years, even.
craziness. And yet, the
And then
media wants to push us to this point so that we fight each other. There's no point in that. But everybody else
with-
seems like, hey, we need to fight each other. No. We see that. You see how that's going. No. We don't have to do it. But they want us to, man. They want us to do this, Brad. They want us to do this. You know, the fact is you're a really good friend of mine, and I don't want to fight you on stuff. But the fact is, this is where they've led us to. They've led us to this whole ideology of fighting each other over stupid shit that we all understand. I don't know.
Are we in a disagreement?
I'm not saying we're full of disagreement. I'm just saying, just
Sorry, man. You're right. It's cool.
I need to take a drink here. I'll be back in a minute. You
Yeah.
tell me. I can hear everything you're saying here, but go ahead with it.
I love how you can see like faces in anything. Right now, I see either an owl or a pet kitten in your little couch there. The yeah, right in the right side middle one there. Ooh, it looks like there's like another like kitten or shaggy dog or some sort. Oh yeah, it looks like a shaggy dog sticking his nose out
Probably a dog.
around the
Right?
corner there. Huh?
Probably a dog, right?
Yeah, a little shaggy dog. What are those dogs with the hair that goes over their eyes, kind of? It kind of looks like Ein a little bit. It's all the way on the left side there. You can see his ears really prominently, and his nose and his tongue sticking out. I only see one of his eyes, though, honestly. The other eye's,
Japanese dogs.
the other eye,
Yes, though.
yeah, it's a corgi. It's a little corgi.
Yes, corgi are perceived.
Yeah, there's a corgi on the left side looking at a cat, probably, I guess. A cat or maybe a Pikachu. You can make a lot of things up in your mind if you just look at it. I have a ceiling in my basement that has like a lot of places have tons of little holes, and it's amazing how you can just look up at it and find so many different like faces by mentally connecting dots. It's almost like a very strange feature how our minds can connect things to create pattern and structure of something we know in almost the weirdest, like strangest situations. I don't know. You think there's like a deeper reason for that or anything like that, or you think it's just kind of a safety protocol makes you feel like, there's something comforting in knowing that you know what's around you. I mean, even like clouds and stuff are the most popular ones, I guess. You just look at the clouds but people see it, I mean, you can be like, "Oh, you don't see that cloud looks like a train?" And people are like, "Yeah. Yeah, it does look like a train." It's weird how like people can also see. It's not like that one face in Antarctica. One person sees it and the other person's like, "There's no face there." Like everybody sees that face in Antarctica. It surely looks like a face, but also it looks like lighting in a mountain structure that just looks like that face could easily disappear at like, another 2 hours later in the day, and like even another, what I mean? It's just a good angle for a face on Google Earth. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's just kind of funny how we like find things in in anything. I mean, remember what I was talking about your drawing? I was like that's like the fire chicken, and it kind of looks like Castlevania's castle from back here, like the fire chicken's trying to or somebody's burning trying to run to the Castlevania castle.
What
And there's a
drawing?
giant
Like
whale in the
what I have here?
you're painting in the background. There's a giant whale on the right in the water.
Oh.
Last time I was way off different too, but yeah, I was
Here. What do you think about that?
I guess you're looking at the other one you're looking at like you can see a bit of like the outside of the land. You're like on a zone like on the left. You're like a drone looking down at the ocean and how the ocean has like an underwater village, kind of like a biodome type underwater lab or something like that, Sea Lab 2021. But this is also this isn't even on our planet. This is on Mars after it's already been like, redone. That's why the sand is like red like that. We've just implemented our own water by adding oxygen molecules. We basically take oxygen molecules from the ground. We can actually extract it from the rock. The rock contains the necessary ingredients for oxygen. So we
That's
turn the
interesting.
rock into something else, and we
That's
extract
interesting
oxygen
because
from the
I've
rocks.
I've heard about that. The fact is, our planet is we are absorbing everything that was of the world. So everything that was living is dead now, and we just consume and become that.
Yeah.
So so the fact is
It's a
like
creepy thought.
so like
If
what you
light only allows us to see what we see, and we can see that light is, see a view into the
so
past,
the fact
what if
is
we're
the
actually,
corpses of the past are our reality, and that's what we are.
already done too? The what's already done is done, and we're just only seeing
The,
it
the
now.
the fact is like even if that's the truth, we have to live upon the corpses of our past. We have to devour the dead. That's why Jesus, I don't understand. You just actually helped me understand a little about the fact of what we have for our reality.
Days into
Jesus,
this fasting, and you're already
Jesus said,
proverbial.
the dead will bury the dead. Let the living, move on." Trying to remember what he had to say. I know exactly that he did say, "Let the dead bury the dead," and I think the fact is, for that understanding, is to understand that we are living off the dead. We live on the dead.
Matthew 8:22. Follow me and let the dead bury their dead. The
Let the dead
spiritual
bury the
dead
dead.
will
Yeah,
always bury their dead,
yeah.
loved ones in a manner that exhibit pride of life, which is not of God, but of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Pride of life. And that's what I said before about pride is like so much stronger than we even give it credit for. You think like if you have pride in almost anything you do, you're doing it wrong. You should be giving every credit to God for everything you do. But
Yeah.
people don't. They're prideful of everything they do.
But the
They
thing
sit
is
back and they look at
also
their
the
work,
fact is like we look
and you
at
think
things like
you
this is
disagreed
just
with me on that.
God. This is just God, but the fact is Jesus said we are either the sons and daughters of the creator or we are the servants. And I think most people according to religions, I I don't mind if you subscribe to a religion or not, but as far as as far as I've been able,
Time
as
on this
far
earth
as
is
I've been
not
able to
necessarily
talk
to
to
find
other
out the
religions
mysteries.
and other people of other religions, they don't understand they actually have a spiritual connection to the Creator. They feel that the Creator is above all of them and acting like some kind of God in some slave like mentality that they can't actually be a part of the kingdom. It's almost like you don't have any representation for taxing. It's almost like what we have today. We went to war over less than this. We get taxed over something that we can't even represent, and we're giving our money away. Why? So we rebelled. It's almost like the initial Creator. We rebelled. What are we doing? Why are we fighting against this? But as a citizenship, as United States, we are trying to understand what is the reason why we're fighting. We're fighting for a reason, right? Okay. What is that reason? Is it because we're not, we can't get defense, we can't defend ourselves? Okay, Native Americans are fighting against us sometimes. We can't do anything about that. Okay, all right. We'll have to fight against that ourselves, or we have to form our own militia. Okay, let's put that into the Constitution. Let's put that into the Declaration of Independence. Let's figure out what we have to set up to make ourselves independent of the crown and independent of the Native Americans, because they do believe that the land isn't owned by anybody, right? Okay, it's not owned by anybody. How do we survive here with a country or possible countries that are going to come in and are going to attack us because there's no borders anywhere, right? Whatever, I don't want to say there's a border because that's going to offend somebody, because how are we going to do that? Well,
imagine if Texas was like a super liberal state, and they want it to be so bad.
Let's try to come together and figure things out, and we'll try to make sure that there is territory that we have. We're living here. We're gonna say this is ours because you said I can't control the territory, which is okay. I understand, but Britain doesn't give a shit about that. So how are we going to do this?
Don't you think that if we would have just allowed,
this is where we come from. I'm dead serious. This is exactly where we come from at this point.
So perhaps Christians should stop fighting back. I know you're probably, are you reading? You can read Alice's thing if you want, but you want to just read his thing quick? Because I have a thing to say to it. Is he still typing?
They just couldn't do anything else with it, hence they needed so damn much land. And that's the whole point. That's a sad truth of reality, that other people, even Native Americans, even Britons, even people of society today that are so dumbed down to understand the fact that you can be as nice as you want, there's always going to be somebody that with so much power, they're going to want to come over and take over your power because they'll be like, you're so weak. You're You're so useless. You just don't know what you're doing. Let me control it for you. I will do everything there is to make sure that you are emboldened and you give up all your control to this entity, this person, this group, whatever, and you just go along with it. You have to retain control within yourself, within your society. And that's the whole point. Like, yes, land should be controlled until we all understand as an internet culture, as a, culture of that perspective, we could come to that point, but we're not quite there yet. We just come to the point, and I want to say, I know it's been 50, 60 years, 70 years of internet understanding of whatever. We're not there yet. We're not there yet to be able to be loving and caring and kind to another culture, because what I said earlier, we just don't understand skin. And because we don't understand skin, we're like, they're the black race, they're the white race, they're the brown race, they're the yellow race. They don't understand. We're not there yet. Until we can actually connect with one another, we're not there yet. We have to get to that point. And I don't know when that's going to be. I can't, I'm not going to say I'm a prophet. If I was everybody wants to say, you're a prophet, I'm going to follow you. You are godly. Everybody should follow you. I can't say that. I will not say that. I don't want to be a false prophet. I don't want to be I don't want to put myself in that position, because that's scary as heck. That is really scary to say you're a prophet, because everything gets judged upon you at that point. And
touch your cloak. That's what I always tell people. John 3:16. All you gotta do is believe, and I always tell people, believe in what? That he was Son of God? And they're like, yeah, that's all you gotta do is believe he's the Son of God. I was like, you're no different than the person who just touched the cloak, hoped you would get healed. Believe. That's all you gotta do is believe. Matthew 7:21 says to follow. If you're gonna believe in something, I think that you want to follow it. That's the whole point. You want to devote yourself, strong-minded, and follow it.
Yeah.
I think the whole idea of words get so misplaced out of context so often. And, what we end up doing is using them outside of their perspective, using them a little bit more controlled, kind of funny, that's what I mean. Like, look at that bombshell. Bombshell. Like, it wasn't, little bombshell? No, it wasn't a little. That's just a word that we use, to add flair to something. And it gets a little bit out of hand with a lot of things. That's what I mean. Remember, I used to argue that the crepes, one person said easy make crepes, and it's like just adding a little bit of water to pancake mix is not making a crepe. So like you can't just call things what they're not. It's not fair to what they are. And I've been saying this for so long with words, and this continually happens more and more and more with more things. And now we're at the level of what's a woman. I mean, I told everybody to watch out with these words, or else I probably have it on media somewhere 7+ years ago, me saying we have to be careful with the words, because I maybe even made the joke of woman, who knows? But I used to say that, like, before you realize it, we'll be not able to use normal words and sentences, because people are like, that's not what it means, and oh, it can mean this or that, and it got like, that's exactly what's happening.
That's exactly what happened. Is
like language
what is
is
a
not
woman,
fluid.
and why is a woman a woman? You have to understand that the fact is, it's just the way nature is.
Well,
nature,
the thing is, there
prescribes
is law.
as to what should be a woman. And the fact is, like, if you look at, you look beyond, you look
You know,
beyond what it really means, and the fact is maybe you're a hermaphrodite. Maybe you were
no,
meant to
you
be both, or maybe you were meant to be one or the other. But, there's a very small percentage of that. It doesn't mean
but I'm just saying.
everybody's meant to be that way. And so when we look upon humanity, here's the thing. A lot of people want to go and, be upon this side or the other, but the fact is there has to be a handshake. In order, this goes
Maybe the
beyond
pyramids.
identity politics. Yes, exactly. Out to send 90 acres to survive, but this goes beyond politics. What I believe, what God, the Creator, had intended for us was to have a handshake. You're going to be female, you're going to be male, right? Okay. Female's here, male's here, right? Okay. There's a handshake. I believe from the beginning of Creator
We
is
compromise off each other.
that there has to be a loving perspective between the two, because if you were the first entity in reality, let's just examine the idea of that, right? Let's go ahead and move perspective towards this, because we're kind of coming into this anyways. You're the creator, Brad, right? Would you want a friend or would you not want a friend?
Friend. Check out these cool animals I made, dude.
Exactly.
Don't
What
go in
would
the
you
water.
do?
All right, you can
What
go in
would
the water, but don't eat that fruit. That one I'm serious about. Don't eat that tree.
let me be
I swear you eat that tree.
let me be the devil, or let me be
Don't listen to the
the
snake. Don't listen to the
devil's
snake.
perspective onto
Always
arguing
talking
against
shit.
all that, right? Let me say that I'm your only friend, right?
They're gonna
There
listen to that
cannot be
snake.
any other friends.
I told them don't do it.
I'm the only friend there is, right?
All right, all right, all right. What's the punishment gonna be?
I can be the only friend. The punishment means that
He's-
you have to scrap everything. You have to destroy it all.
He did not. He did not just give that to her.
I'm the
Or
only friend.
or the other way. She did not just
I'm
give
the
that to
only
her.
friend. You
He
can't.
did not just take a bite.
If you only
Oh,
if you love anything else but me, I will
that's
disappear.
it. That's it.
I'll be gone, and you can't
You're
see
out.
me ever again.
You're out. You're out.
I'm out. Okay, bye bye.
I have rules. Rules and law. Make your own now. It's your turn to make rules and law. Find out how it works when people don't follow your rules and law. You'll have chaos in just like a couple thousand years, you bitch.
I'm in my own reality. I can't understand you.
Now, the pyramids, what if the pyramids were made from another group? What if there was another group before us and all that, and they had a different like scenario? Maybe they didn't kill Jesus. That's why he was still alive for us.
Honestly, Jesus being alive would enable
He brought them all into
the
enlightenment.
Egyptians even more so, reading what they had actually believed in. When you die, and if you're a pure soul, you become a star. The Egyptians actually, if you read the Book of the Dead, you'll understand this even more so. Read the Book of the Dead no more than I do. I'm pretty sure I
Probably
know
Bebop says
most of this, at least 90%, but I don't want to go ahead and be a
90% of the Book of the Dead.
the
Oh, you
Egyptian
sound like
Book
a
of the
real
Dead.
scholar.
I've read a lot. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I read a lot, and I'm just gonna go ahead, just read it, and just do that, okay?
Is that like on the top selling books? I only read top
Actual
selling books.
Book of the Dead, not what's promoted. Look into the nitty gritty of everything and find out.
Is that
The
like
fact is,
doesn't
here's the thing.
can I read
you need to have
while he's
the
alive?
You need to have the
Zahas version or
soul
whatever.
of your soul needs to
Zahi
be.
Wahas version.
I'd
That
have
his
to
name?
look. I'd have to look into that again. But your soul needs to be the light of a feather. You need to literally do what the Buddhists do in Buddhist
Yeah,
understandings,
my soul's very weighed down.
and you need to let go. It's hard. It's very hard. But you need to
Mm,
let you
but
need to
but I got a lot
let
of things.
go.
I
I
got a lot of things
know,
that I'm
I
hanging on to
know,
here.
I know, I do too, man. I do too. Same as Altison, same as everybody else here that's hanging out with us. You need to let go of things to move on, and it's so hard.
I'll
I've seen
I'll
some
let I'll
movies
let
too
go when
that
I
are
get
just,
told it's time. Right now I'm on a mission.
man,
I got a lot of
it's.
things. I got a lot of things that I have to take care of.
But then again, I think honestly, I think against what the teachings are is that there are some of us that are like us or are us that actually have to not let go and actually have to push the understanding of the future, because there's going to be
That's
some
what I'm
people that are
saying. We all on
so
purpose.
confused to what
But
to even do in the future. They're just like,
God
I don't know
doesn't
what to
God
do.
doesn't like pride, but he allows us to have children. Seems quite ironic.
I know, right? Exactly.
I mean,
The flip side, a small town of settlers only needs 90 acres to subscribe to their. I can't speak. 90 acre to thrive. This goes into identity politics. Children should be our pride. Altison, I think you figured it out. I think that's all there is to the ending of this. I'm
but
done.
dude, that was one of our
Thanks
first
everybody for
episodes. Right
watching.
away.
That's been awesome, and we've done
Right away,
a
one
great
one of our first
podcast here.
episodes
Yeah,
was
exactly.
about children and how we need to put our children first. And then, I mean, this was you remember it, man. Most months before all this stuff came out about children and the trans and all that, we did our whole show.
And most people didn't even watch that. They didn't even watch
I don't want
that.
to hear it.
They didn't care. They cared about. Here's the thing: people care about themselves. Sure, you care about yourself, but if you believe that you are the creator or the beginning of all things, why wouldn't you care about those that you created? Why did Zeus try to eat his own children? Because according to the old textures, he didn't care about his children. He cared about his life, Rhea, and he cared about anything else other than that. He didn't care about his children. Why should we not be better? Why do we not consider ourselves as better? Because we believe we wish to be. And to be and to wish to be means that we should be. And to should be means
People are
that
just
we
selfish.
will be.
They're just
Yes.
selfish. They want their cake and they want to eat it too, you know?
And there's a different meaning to that, but yes, I do understand that. I I know
Is that
you're
not what it
laughing.
means?
I know you're laughing about it, but I'm sure you look into it. It means that the French could not eat the cakes that they actually created for other people to enjoy. They could only actually have it as a display. So having it only as a display meant different circumstances than what what we understand today. But yeah,
What are we talking about?
well, our prowess, as far as like being able to make choices for
Okay.
ourselves, cake and eating it too.
Yeah,
It mean
they they want. All right, we'll just change cake to cock then. I think we solved that problem.
yeah, you kind of make a point there.
Oh,
Boom! You
It
been
was like
thunderstruck.
1800s. We want our cake and we won't eat it too. 2022. We want our cock and we won't eat it too.
I don't even know if I want to say. I
Yeah,
can't say
I
that.
know. Make the meme. Go ahead. Get a couple thousand on it.
Alton, make the meme, put it in Discord. I'll post it for
But you got to give like a 50s person pog style thumb up with it and right in the middle. I'll make it. I'll make it for you. I'll make it tonight and put it out there.
Brad actually does them. Well, tell me what you do, man. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like art wise and stuff or
Yeah, art-wise.
actually it is a little bit easier to show. I should make like a whole channel thing, be one of those guys, but I'm not like Mr. Craft guy. No, I do like vinyl stuff and all that. What? Like what, my shirt? Is that what you're talking about? Like my shirt? Or my like a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, sure. Doing what?
I,
Not,
I
no,
moved
it's not Clash of Clans, but I know it's
I
popular
moved
as Clash of
everything up
Clans.
here. I moved everything up here now. I got my printer, my cold press, I got my cutter, I got my shirt maker back there. Pretty cool. Nice to have a little setup up here. And now that I got my lamp, all I got to do is bring up my keyboard, and then I can just live up here because I got my mini fridge right here too, with no beer in it.
That's the
Enough
problem,
time to fix up
Allison.
the room.
That's your problem, Allison. Everybody else is watching this. Who is the new Zeus? We don't know. He is a shapeshifter, and he'll do whatever.
Ah, that's what I said before. We're all that. That's when Jesus died. He put us all. We're the next one. There is no resurrection of Jesus. It's through us. We're not going to find a new Zeus. What there was, look, the Babylonians only said there was like 8, I think, or something, entity or 7. It's like 7. And I thought, that's weird if you think about it because there's the 12 zodiacs, but one of them has a Gemini, which you think maybe it's the same crisscrossing, you know what I mean? Like if one's on one side, then isn't technically the other one crisscross to the other side? What if it's like a beam, kind of like a crossing? I'm just making stuff up in my head, but just in general, it's like maybe the same because you think about what the other side is like, Sagittarius and stuff. I mean, maybe Sagittarius is when all that crazy stuff went down. I don't know, but the other one's like Libra, which is like the judgment, idea. Like maybe there's not really any entities for that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this time period just doesn't really have entities that kind of guide or
That
control us.
actually kind of makes sense. You know,
It's all the way up until Judgment, but Judgment's 10,000 years later. So I mean, the whole idea of like, can Jesus survive 10,000 years from now the way we're headed? That's the truth of it. If you think about it, will he?
I think
You
the
put a
way
whole,
that
you put a, what if a holy war comes out where they start having all these mob people start burning Bibles? Just start
he,
massively burning them. I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't take
yeah,
long when it's a Christian conservative value of
yeah,
abortion to make them
yeah,
decide to do an attack on Christianity.
he would pick a side.
You know what I mean? Like,
You
you
might
have to start saying, like,
he's he's not picking a side, but he would pick a side because the fact is,
our government now would, oh, he's so Catholic, but I support the right to protest.
Yeah,
We can always print more Bibles, but he won't.
Well, yeah, back in the day, it was a little bit different there, but he would pick a side because you might say, oh, he's going to be completely neutral, like Tim Pool or something like that. No.
Neutral.
It doesn't make any sense because the fact is...
In the same sentence.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. But the fact is...
I'm not saying, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
Here's the thing. I know. I'm new. Here's the thing. he would tell you what was on the right and what was on the wrong. And essentially, the first thing he said to the Samaritan woman that was going to try to find some water within the well, whether she could find it or not, it didn't matter. He told her to find her husband. Why would he say that to her? What was the point? She decided to be Amaranth, the same woman that's actually being still recommended to me and just chatting right now, as the woman, or
End your podcast now and go watch Amaranth.
yeah, I was just saying, like, to be what you
Nobody's
should look
watching,
for.
dude. Just go watch her.
But here's the thing. She's the... I don't know what to describe her as, but...
I mean, the man who lets her go on TV and shake her goods is the ultimate simp.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And he described to her to be... To go find her husband. Who is her husband? If she's simping out for everybody, who is Amaranth's husband? It's some random guy we don't even know about it. Is that her husband? Is she destroying her marriage? Yes.
Like Britney Spears
Yes.
and what's his name?
Yes. And yes, she is destroying her husband. She is destroying her family. She doesn't... If she were
Nancy Pelosi and her husband.
If she were to have sex, if she were to get pregnant and to be with another man, she'd have the other man's husband, spawn within herself. The reason even myself, is the fact is your wife being, faithful to you? Do you even know that? But if a woman is promoting herself to be with, as it says right now, dance with AMO and Alinity, type is for my da-da-da. She's promoting herself to be with random guys. She's not just trying to do this for money. It's sexual promiscuity.
It's enjoyment.
It's
to feel
with the little peach symbol in there before the dance, and the water splashing symbol before the dance. It's for sexual enjoyment. She doesn't give a shit about her husband's side.
She needs people simping for her. She's addicted to it.
Yeah, she's addicted to it. She's like, I don't care if I'm addicted. If I got a husband.
But people get addicted to anything. If they can live comfortably, they become addicted to it. If they're living comfortably, just some people don't know how to live comfortably. Some people can live comfortably even though their life is shit.
Exactly. I mean, and that's my point. That's what I'm trying to say. There's some
people's lives can be great, and they'll never live comfortably. They're not capable of living comfortably.
Even if they're rich or poor, whatever.
They always make a problem.
It's some of these people that are actually caring to be promiscuous. They don't care if they destroy your life or their own. They don't care. They're making money. That's all there is to it, as far as they're concerned. Now, you might say, well, I understand more, and they're wrong, but they don't understand that. And this is where we are with Roe v. Wade. People's lives versus the potential of another life. They don't care. They don't care. They're thinking about themselves, and that's that. And that's the sad thing. That's a sad
I
thing.
know.
Like
Man,
I'm
just
looking
like
at
3
this and
years
I
ago, we
just
used to be
I
able to talk about ancient
just told you
aliens
about it.
still. Now you just made us always having to talk about like the next political movement and problem. Is that any problem, man? These people are crazy. There's never any good things that come out anymore.
I think there is a lot that can come about.
I mean, there is a lot, but they don't talk about it. They don't
Well,
even pay
that's
attention
the
to it.
whole
They don't even pay
point,
attention to it.
Brad. That's the whole point. We don't talk about it. We could talk about it. We could make it. We could make it a thing. But that's the whole point. The media wants to make sure you believe that you're wrong, that you can't win, and they're not right. You know, because every time you look at it, you see opposition. You're like, they're full of shit. I can't believe it. It doesn't make any sense. You know, man. You know, not just from that perspective, from your own heart perspective. You know that you can change things. And the whole point is, when you look at it, you're like, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's not true. It's not real. It can't be real because you know it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You know it doesn't. And everybody else out there that might want to say, oh, I'm doing jump rope. Oh, just wait till that. No, it's not jump rope. Jump rope is for exercise. This is exactly as we know it is to be. There cannot be anything else other than what we understand. And the fact is, it's not a delusion. It's not some imagination. It is what it is. We want to help other people. We want to help the people that need help. We want to help the people that are going to be created through our help. There's nothing more than that. There's nothing. I mean, I can't see anything more than that. It just doesn't make any sense. As far as like, okay, let's start a new topic. As far as
I was thinking about talking about merch gear. If we ever like did want to make merch stuff a little bit. You're saying use that logo because you're right. I really should. I already have all the machinery. Might as well. And the know-how. It's fun to do it. It's
do it.
fun to make stuff.
Let's do it.
We need a good slogan. I mean, we are Aquarius is cool enough, I guess. But
I've
right.
always liked with my own. I've already told you about this, but let's stay triggered, or let's get triggered. One of the two, but
With infamous.
let's
Things are funnier.
get triggered.
I love how in
Y'all's
life
way.
things are probably most funniest to you or yourself, and like everything you'd say, obviously like more funny to yourself than other people. It could theoretically be funnier to somebody else, but more likely than not, like you try to say what would be funny for yourself. It's interesting. I don't know.
How about we say alt get triggered? I have a question mark. You
You
know?
want me to make an alt key?
Yeah.
I actually don't have that many like I don't have a sublimation printer here. I have one in, another area, but I don't have
Hmm.
one here. So I can't do sublimation t-shirts, which would make that so much easier to do.
Hmm.
Unless
That actually would be
unless
pretty good.
unless I unless I use sublimation ink when I was in DR to print out a bunch of things and then bring it back here.
Oh,
When I was
jeez.
when I'm in next month when I go over, I can just print out a bunch of things on the because I have the heat press. All I need to do is print it on the paper.
Yeah.
Once the ink's on the paper, I can just take them and then put them on any heat press later.
Yeah.
Press them down.
That's the only thing. Like, even Alton was saying that Zeus relishes in shagging mortal women and living off the glory of his sons. Sure, but the fact is, he wanted to do a lot of that himself, right? Wouldn't you?
Later.
If you were Zeus,
I can
how
shoot
much?
lightning out of my hands.
Sure, but how much escapades would you do for yourself?
Escapades.
Yeah.
If I was the create, is Zeus the creator or is Zeus just like a god?
God, Zeus,
Uh,
Greek.
He's he's not creator of all.
You
Zeus
are
still
the
answers to somebody, right?
Zeus
Does
is
Zeus
the
answer to anybody?
Zeus is all father. Same as Odin. What would you do?
But you said even Odin feared Thor.
But that's unless you actually read Thor, which most people haven't. The majority of people believe Zeus is the All Father. No contestants.
But people see Zeus, right?
Yeah, his
People meet
ex-wife
Zeus.
would.
See, and that's the whole thing. Nobody but the promised people ever got to see God. So it's hard to believe the idea that Zeus could also be God. Zeus could be one of the deities, that could communicate with God and whatnot, possibly. And maybe that's in a different time. I have to think, I don't really pay attention to the other side of the six, to be honest. But maybe that there is a time if you go back further.
Hmm.
I don't know. What are the other, besides like Sagittarius and Libra, and what are the other ones? I gotta look it up. Just look it up.
It comes down to Dionysus and a lot of other kinds of gods and goddesses that ruled the world at that point. Yeah,
So
definitely. That's great. Look up all
I have a
the
charger.
gods and
Right.
goddesses.
Oh, just bumped my thing and photos came on. Just love how Apple automatically always opens my photos. The hell, are people even talking about it now? When will the age of Aquarius begin? I never saw that article. Earthsky.org. I should look at that. That's January 8th, 2021. But where's the wait? So look, this even says right here. Listen, if I on Glamour magazine, it says we have entered the new astrological age, the age of Aquarius, and this is how it's shaking up our lives. That was in November 19th, 2021. For many, there's been a definite shift in energy from 20 to 21. Like how I don't necessarily think we've entered the age of Aquarius yet. I don't.
Well,
I think that we're finding the very end of the age of Pisces, which is why there's a lot of problems. When the age of
yeah. Well,
Aquarius
there's
begins, it's
here's
surely going to be like a whole different
here's
scenario.
here's the thing. It's the saddest thing is we are devouring the scales and the sinews and everything that is of Pisces. So other people are just looking at us and believing we're crazy or we're blah 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 or some I don't give a shit. It's all about moving into a new transition of phase of being and believing. And everybody else is like, this is the way corporations say things. Blah, 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 blah. Corporations only do things based upon who gives them money. And if you don't give them any money, they can't survive. Da, 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 blah, blah, blah. That's the
Then
way
it
things
goes.
work. And so that's how things transition from one to the other. And so
It goes
when we look at,
Capricorn to Sagittarius to
yeah,
Scorpio to Libra to Virgo.
we're moving from
And
one
Virgo,
phase to the other. And we're
see,
going
that's
to
what I mean.
be
Virgo's
part of
like the
that.
virgin, right? I've
Yeah.
always thought that like the virgin idea is like the very beginning. Like it had, you know what I mean? Like that's the Virgo state, the very beginning, the virgin, you know? Then
Mm-hmm.
Leo comes and, kind of civilizes things. But I don't exactly know what Sagittarius and Scorpio are going to be.
It's just really
But
going to be something of the same. As sad as it
I
is,
think,
it's
yeah, I
just
think
going to
it's
be,
just, I
it's
think
just going
it,
to be something of
I
the
think,
same because everybody's looking for something like judgment time. Boom, boom, boom. If you really want judgment, look at Judge Dredd. Look at some of those movies. They're going
I
to
mean, I think
destroy
it's
you.
just
You are
a bunch
not
of
going to
plagues for the next,
survive. It's just going to be you committed a
but
sin. You need to die. And
but
it's
the reality is we don't teach our children at a very young age just the dire need to be able to make sure that they understand who Jesus was. And you know what I mean? Like you need to not just remember to carry, like you need to carry them. Like if we ever pass on, just remember that our most important thing to tell you is that Jesus was the Son of God and Jesus gave us eternal life. He died for us.
yeah.
Like we need to not just carry his name, but follow his principle. His principle is in a book called the Holy Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And you read that to make sure that you follow the way that he lived. Because if you follow the way that he lived, you can guarantee that your afterlife after you die is going to be better. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you're just trying to, that's greedy then. It's greedy. You're just trying to make your life better. But like it's not greedy when you just also believe it. That's the whole point. That's what John 3:16 says to believe it.
The,
I don't
the,
just
the
think it's better.
problem
I think
with
it's better, but it's not just for me. It's not better just for me. It's
mhm.
better for everyone.
The problem with greediness is that everybody believes that they are
It's not a
not
personal.
greedy. Here's the thing. Here's the
That's why you're
bubble
supposed to
pop.
spread it now.
Exactly. Here's the bubble popping snapper thing
Trying to tell everybody how to do
that
it. It's not even.
happens with our reality is that the fact is we're not greedy. No, here, you are greedy. You're extensively greedy. You were trained to be greedy by society. And society also will tell you to not be greedy at the same freaking tense of the whole entire thing. They'll tell you, don't be greedy, but be greedy because, just maybe you'll be
If you're
safe.
not, then the next person will capitalize on
And
top of
Ben
you.
Shapiro
Capitalization,
or
capitalism.
Ben Stein or, whatever kind of conservative or whatever kind of liberal will support you and blah, blah, blah. They'll gain you recompense in the next life because of all the monetary gain they gave to you and your siblings and your spawn and your seed and whatever, and you'll be fine. This is exactly what Jesus had to say. You follow Satan, you follow the devil, you follow this, you follow that. It's because you didn't follow the Creator. You followed every single thing other than the Creator. You didn't care. You didn't care about your fellow beings. You cared about yourself. You cared about your own personal success. And yes, you have to try to help yourself out. But to what degree are you going to do it? What degree are you going to sacrifice your fellow humans to do so?
Well, I think the whole point, if you're doing that at all, then you're not doing it right anyway. So you can produce dust from the ground. Take dust from the ground and produce life. You can make bread. That's what I'm saying. You can be productive without taking from somebody else.
Yeah.
You can say, well, somebody else might be doing the same thing. Okay, if you all of a sudden were able to compromise and take over, but at the end of the night, if that person didn't sell any bread, I mean, one, they would have bread to eat, so they're still not going to go hungry. And two, that's the whole point of tithing in the long run. You don't need more. You can, make sure that you help them out, or, figure out why they hire them to make a bread business together. They can make the bread the way that you make it, and you can make less bread or make more bread together. And I mean, find ways to be productive with society.
Exactly.
Rather than how to cheat people out always. Find what people's uses are. Even if they're simple-minded, you can still give them a good use. But that's what I'm saying. That goes back into my, I've said it before.
That's a funny thing, dude. That's a funny thing. It's a ridiculously funny thing. We look and we laugh at those that are less than, because we think we're just so much smarter than them all the time. I do. And I feel bad sometimes because it's like I'm so
I laugh when people do things funny,
than some of
but
these people.
I typically try to tell them to their face what make me laugh at them.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of us do that. It's just kind of a natural thing, and we have to actually try to find a way. That's a hard thing, man. That's a really hard thing. Find a way to find out how to connect us. That's the one thing that we have in this life. How to connect us to those that just don't understand why they're destroying society. Why are they destroying society when we've already looked at all of the plus and balances and why?
What are they going to gain from all this?
Exactly. Is it just money?
I know.
Is it
you don't
popularity?
grow down in a legacy. So I mean, your legacy won't be remembered well. So I agree with you. It's not like they're going to keep your statue up or even ever make a statue of you. So I know what you're saying. It is strange. What is the end game to all this? In the end, you think Hunter Biden's going to be doing more business? Maybe they really were just dumb and they thought they wouldn't get caught, and they've gotten caught, and it's that simple-minded, and they just don't know how to, just be like, yeah, we should just go to jail. Let's just cash it in.
They don't go to jail. And you understand that that's the way the world works. Everybody thinks that We're gonna throw Hunter Biden in jail. We're gonna throw Trump into jail. It never. They've had immunity. They can't
They're
go there.
elites. They're elites.
Exactly. They can't go there.
That
How
that
do
just
we change
men
that?
men need to have a sex strike
Maybe we need to
until
have a
until
strike on everything. A sex strike, politician strike. I think we're
strikes
at
don't
the
work.
point. I think we're at the point that we need to hit everything.
Yeah, but you can't have a sex strike because the thing is the men that would be like, I'm down, also have their conservative wives that would be like, yeah, why? And it's like you're right. I already agree. You already agree with me. And the people who wouldn't be like, yeah, right. Well, I don't agree with them anyway, so no. So I'm saying it doesn't work when you know what I mean. There's nothing to protest when the other group just disagrees. One group says lives, a fetus is not a life. Another group says it is. They just disagree. That's why there's no compromise being able to be met because there's a disagreement. Can't compromise on something where two people have different views.
Yeah.
It's just who would have thought that the first one comes down to like morality of a human inside a body like that.
Hmm.
It's like, Satan loves to just keep finding more and more complex decisions for people to have to experience and understand how complicated life can get and the idea of morality and up and down. It starts to get into it that with this people, I mean, obviously your psychos on the left are psychos, but on the right, they're really like it's such a hard topic because as an American, you do believe in freedom. But like to reiterate, because I don't think Altison was even here for that in the beginning, to reiterate what we said, there is no freedom of no religion. There's only freedom of religion. And I don't know any religion currently that supports the idea of aborting babies. Only these people who are atheists that don't care about any God or anything, they're the ones who say, my body, my choice, let me abort a baby that's not. Well, you don't have that freedom. It never says that, even in the basic principle. You don't have a freedom to not care or have any upholding. The idea of God is a level of morality. If you don't even believe in God, you probably should look in a mirror. Why do you not seem to have the morality gene? And maybe you need to go find it. Because if you think that life is better without it, I pity you. I do. I wish I could help you. Wish I could find a way for you to understand that life is precious. Your life is, maybe they're really depressed. Your life is precious. You can do something better, and especially now, it's not even hard to do something better. Be a movement for the right thing. The right thing, conserving people's lives, stopping the indoctrination of strange things on children and teach them better core. We should be fighting for like little things like, how hard we're pushing younger children, probably more recess and stuff. I don't care if my kid can graduate 1 year earlier so she can be more successful 1 year earlier in life. I don't care about that. My daughter's 7 and asked me today, is it tooth fairy really real? Like it's
Hmm.
just you guys, doing it, right? She's like, it is, right? It's not real. Of course we tell her, yeah, no, it's not real. I've always had that principle. I said I'm not gonna lie to my kid. When she asks me, she's ready, not gonna lie her. She knows it, and she goes, I guess not the Easter bunny. Like, it's fine. It's fine. I know she's really young and I get it, but that's the world now. I'm not going to entertain your fantasy when you clearly know what's going on. You chose real life, and that's what it is now. I mean, that's what the world has given us. But she said it too straightforward too. If we would have lied to her, she would have just really looked at us like you lie about anything to me, and she would have known it, and she would have kept it in the back of her mind. She's smart like that. She's not always smart, but she's smart in a lot of areas. She knows how to put things together.
That's the thing that most people that are not
She's just a
parents
clown.
don't understand. They think the kids that are born to parents are going to just be drones. It's not truth. And that's the thing, Brad. You and even we both understand. Other people that are parents will understand this too. You cannot
Yeah, but our parents
raise
were just
you
doc.
cannot raise a drone completely. You will raise a part of your blood and a part of who you are to live the life
Yeah.
that you see now.
I mean, and I guarantee
It's
what 3 or 4 months later, you're gonna get like you're gonna get two different kinds of stories. One's where people are going to be saying like, I live in an abortion state and I already regret aborting my baby. And you're going to see all these other stories where they're going to be like, I kept my baby to term because I had to, and it was the greatest decision I ever made in my life. And you're going to see this like all these sad stories come out with their classic like right-wing sound and pitches to it, and it's going to annoy me because it's like again, none of you care about the children. You just care about the
exactly
story.
that's the whole point.
Which is what somebody even said before. They said, you don't care about the story. You don't care about the children. They said once they're born, what do you care what happens to them? They said
This is
rather
the
just be
whole
done with it
reason.
right away. So they know that there's a child, but the whole thing doesn't even come down into whether it's a child or not. It comes down to what's going to happen to that child if nobody cares about it.
Exactly. This is the whole reason why we see.
Adoption does not happen for everyone, and you do not
Yeah.
want millions of kids being pulled in by a government.
Yeah. This is the
Oh,
whole
the government
reason
mandated
why.
schools where they have boarding schools for children. Guess what they teach there? Guess
Yeah.
what those kids are going to be voting for when they hit 18?
Yeah.
Millions of them, because you all love to just have sex and then give the kids to the government.
That's
Fun
the whole
getting those
point.
close parking spots
That's
for
the
9 months.
entire point. Is those that get married to the government.
Half the parking lot's going to be pregnant women, and
Yeah,
then the back
exactly.
half,
That's the
it's
whole
going to
point. It's as soon as everybody gets married to the government, they're going to go ahead and just promote the government. And
the
you might
government
be
gives you
like,
more
you
money
might be
for
like,
abortions
oh, the
now. You don't even
government's
have to
great.
have the baby in
Here's the
order to get
thing
it
that the
taxed back.
socialists that have been trying to be for the government for a long time have not realized that Nazi means National Socialist. And so when you're trying to be for the government, for everything that you wish to be, you don't even understand what you're trying to push for. You don't understand what it even means to be that thing. You're pushing for the very thing that you wish to fight against.
Look, there's
It's
no lie in my mind.
it's unbelievable
The better,
stupidity that people are just.
the better course
And
of
I'm not
action
trying
would
to
have been to
trying to attack people, but I'm just
keep Roe
trying to
v.
say,
Wade and ban
look at
abortion
how
altogether.
things
But
are.
since that's not happening, at least take a small victory at hand. You know. Besides the left they both see it as a victory in the long run. Now California can probably abort babies up to 3 years after they've been born. No more though. Once they hit third birthday, they're a human life.
But how
They
is
can
it
say
going to be for
words.
regular people looking at that completely convoluted state and say, oh, well, that child's 2 years old, but oh, I guess a parent doesn't recognize them as actual person, and oh, I guess it's okay to kill them off. How are other people coming to the United States saying we have freedoms, we have protections? How are they going to interpret the United States as being a free and good nation to come to? They're not going to see it as that. Other people might say, hey, it's the illusion. No, they're going to understand what actually happens. Other nations, even if we look into Australia, we can see the craziness and the BS that they actually had to suffer through. What are we going to do?
Yeah, but why is the right wing media making it like, oh, we're starving and we can't, survive and this and that? I don't want to be mean, but truth be told, if you're typing on a like phone thing on YouTube and you're starving, like your family's starving or you're starving, you should probably go get another, even if it's minimum wage job. I don't know. I mean, most states, I believe, have decent food stamp policies for people with families and stuff. And truthfully, if you get any kind of like even part-time minimum wage job, you can get on shelter plans too. I mean, I don't quite understand who's starving in our country, because if they're starving, they probably have mental problems. In which case, again,
It's not
the
about
problem should probably be
starving.
more along the lines
And the fact
solved
is,
by
it's
like
not about
another kind of,
mental
not police force,
problems.
but like people picking up these people who need help. Because
Here,
I'm confused.
here's the thing. It's not about starving. A percentage of it is about mental problems, but it's about.
I mean, truth
It's
be
not
told,
about
all right,
starving. It's about everybody has
most other
so
countries already had to
much
pay more for
food.
gas
There
anyway.
is there's
Gas only went.
almost nobody that actually has a starving problem in the United States of America, unless you're coming from another country and you're completely starved because you had absolutely no food. There's almost no percentage of that to come to starving
I mean,
victims.
if
We've
you're
had
starving, it's
an
because you want to be starving.
overabundance of food for everybody, everywhere. At any point in time, you go to any convenience station, you can buy an apple pie, you can buy a cherry pie, you can buy any kind of donut kind of food with sugar in it. You can get anything you want at a convenience station. It can stave off starvation for a day or two or more. You have so much opportunity to survive in this country, health food wise. The only difference is that you can eat and overindulge yourself more than any other country out there in the entire world. The entire world. We have it covered. The only difference is that we've supplied ourselves with an endless amount of stupidity that we've become what we've become. It's so horrendously stupid. We have becoming. We I don't even know how to objectify. They're just the ridiculousness that we've come to. I don't know how to say.
It's amazing. The devil's got like an art on how to like manipulate the mind of people so fast.
You're right. You're right. I think the devil or the evil wishes to control us to a point of which we are so stupefied that we can't think beyond our normal.
Well, that's what I mean. The people who are like
Preposition.
super right wing conservative, if it was like 600 years ago, they would still look left. Like, I'm
That's the
telling you,
whole
you know what I
point.
mean? Like,
people keep saying like, "Oh, this wing media is best for us because they're not leftist." Why are they constantly telling the left how to win? Duh. I wonder.
people nowadays would think
maybe
the
they're
lefts
trying
are
to
witches.
they're trying to tell the left how to win, so the left won't be so goddamn stupid. So they actually will win in the future. You gotta actually think about some of this stuff and go like, that
All those
makes
people would have been
sense.
like Nancy Pelosi. They would have tried her as a witch and like drowned her and burned her and stuff. You know what I mean? Guarantee
Yeah, in the
it.
past, it would have just thrown her in a pile of.
That person would have been identified as a witch like right
She's a
away.
witch. Who do we burn witches with? More witches. And I'm gonna burn her alive with everybody
Pretty
else.
sure like a lot of those people. So I'm saying like I'm pretty sure like back 1700s, if Adam Schiff said all that shit about people, someone would have been like, yo, I challenge that dude to a duel.
That guy
And
would have been dead
Adam Schiff's
and
not,
long
not
in the
winning a duel.
grave. I would have killed him
Not winning a
long
duel.
ago because that guy has the look of a liar. You look at that like and
Yeah, you can tell.
like he has that kind of fucking look in his eyes. It's just like he is an absolute liar. He cannot tell the truth for any real reason. No what? He,
I have the evidence.
I would have killed him
I gotta
off
keep my eyes
long
open.
ago.
Can't. I
I
have
would
the
have been like,
evidence.
"You're a fucking liar. I will duel you and kill you." I'm just saying, like, people would have done this shit. People would have done this kind of thing. Because here's the thing. And you watch this one movie. I don't know if you actually watched this movie, Brad, but watch this movie. I'm not saying this for the sake of our podcast, but I'm just saying, watch the movie, The Duel. It has Matt, in it from the, most of the movies. But it has a lot of newer, well, not newer actors in it, but it has a lot of new actors in the movie. But the movie The Duel has Matt Damon and a lot of other actors in it. And the fact is, it actually shows you the way of reality. Here's the thing. The way that God has intended things to be is the way that we wish reality to be. So if we want the right kind of character to win, we will be that right kind of character. It's the person that I'm not going to go ahead and show you what happens, but I'm sure you understand what happens. But here's the thing. If you're right, you will fight for your right to win. And you will do so in any kind of way to make sure that wins. Just watch the movie The Duel. It has Matt Damon in it and the other actor that played in the Star Wars movies with the son of
Ben Affleck.
Yeah, Ben Affleck and the other character from the other Star Wars movies in it.
Together. I knew it.
What I'm trying to say is...
Samuel Jackson?
No. But what I'm trying to say is, it comes down to the fact that the truth and God coincide all the time. They might say, oh, it leaves it two up, this person versus this person to see who's the right person to win. Yes. Because that's what reality is about. People want to say, no, it can't be about that. It can't be about someone being stronger than I am. It is about that. It is about the fact that your conviction is true and the other person's conviction is false. It doesn't matter whether we're within the 1300 timeline, 1400, 12,000 timeline, 3,000 and 1,500 and 1,600 timeline. It doesn't matter what time we are in. It matters upon whether you know you are right. This is where society has gone wrong. They believe whatever they're told. The fact is, you're right. You will prove you are right. Doesn't matter what time frame it is. You'll prove it because you wish to believe and you wish to know and you wish to prove it upon everybody else that is wrong, that they are wrong. And there's other...
They need to shut up.
Yeah, they need to shut up. There's other stupid people out there that wash...
We're tired. They're stupid. They're so stupid.
They're
so
just
annoying, too.
Exactly. You can prove them wrong. You will prove them wrong. You just need to push your efforts into fruition. That's all there is to it.
I like how both sides can listen to this and down the line they'll be like, yeah, he's right. And you just like escalated the problem for everyone.
It's not that. It's not that. It's just the truth. Here's the thing.
The truth. They both believe the truth.
No.
It's not one of them's not like.
There's people that believe there's people that believe they're part of the truth, but they're not. They have half of an idea, but they don't have the actual idea. There's people that actually have the idea, and they know they are a part of the idea. Those people will win. That's all there is to it. And that's what it is about. The fact is, when you look at other people and you see where most society are pushing towards, not to say all of the time they're right, but I'm just saying there is a big part of reality that you need to look forward to. And if you know that they are right, you'll push with them. But if you know they are wrong, there's a big button that you're going to be pressing.
I'm racist. I better not do that.
There's going to be a big pressing in here in your head. You're like, it can't be right. I gotta fight against it. You're going to fight against it as soon as it pops out. That's how it kind of works in a lot of ways. A lot of this is from what I've seen, dreams, and other things as well. I'm just saying, you're not going to be 100% on par with everything you've seen from growing up. It can't be that way because, not just saying I've seen it that way, but from looking back upon the past and with other people, you could even reference Nostradamus and other things like that. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to go against the grain. Why? Because the grain only sees things that happened and what they think that will happen after what happened. But it doesn't always necessarily mean that's how things are going to be. So that's That's as far as I can go to. I can't. I can't
That
think
was a
of
great
anything.
closing argument for me. I think I'm getting too tired to continue.
Yeah, I'm trying to be
I got like
helpful.
a 5 mile hike in and a 5 mile hike out, so I'm supposed to wake up 7. Might sleep in a little bit and just jog the first 3 miles. Carry my
Okay,
kid.
you're not a part of the military, but I would love to hear your experience with that because I've had my own associations with the military, and my favorite thing was jogging. I'm not saying I was the smartest person there, but you know, you
Jacking?
learn jogging. I just jogged.
Oh,
I just
jogging. I think you said jacking.
no, I just jogged. I know you're trying to make a joke, but
Just jogged. Jogged.
jogging from one place to the next within a mile, within a mile. That's not what. No. 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 No.
I'm looking in the camera when I do that. A little goofed off at this point. Oh,
All right. I've
cut
I've
me
said a
out.
lot. I've said a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and give this up to
I know.
you,
I need liquor. I
Brad.
need liquor to wake up.
Okay, I'm gonna drink another shot
I've been
here,
I've been making
and
faces. I know, man. I needed some liquor. You know what I did the other day? We didn't really have anything to drink. The only thing I have left in the house is some gin. So I
drink it,
decided because my wife
drink it,
really said I want
drink it,
Sam. She goes, I want
drink it,
Sambuca.
drink it, drink
So I got some
it,
McCormick anise
drink it,
flavored
drink it.
seasoning. I didn't make noises while you were talking, just faces. Put a little bit of that in there with some gin. My word, did that taste
Drink
extremely
it,
close
drink
to some Sambuca. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
drink it.
I, drink what?
I don't care.
I wish I had something to drink. My mouth has been parched for the last like 30 minutes. That's why I really haven't said anything. Plus, everybody's asleep and I moved upstairs, so I don't really want to be that loud. But, yeah. Yeah. I think he's pretty drunk. He sounds pretty drunk. Oh, he's got his headphones in still probably. He can hear me. I forgot. He can still hear me, but he just dang. 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 Well, I don't know. It's 241. Jeez. Man. I guess the diet must give you more energy. Guys need anything but peanut butter and beer. Apparently. Staying awake all night. Running on reserves. The reason I'm awake is because I was playing golf till 3 in the morning yesterday. Well, I want to come up with some ideas for some merch and make some cool shirts. Like We Are Aquarius and some cool font and maybe some catchy phrases. I don't know. Gotta get around. I gotta reorganize my inventory. I got some laminate all over here and it's a mess. I got all my laminate on the other side of uh, where is it? That. You can't see it. It's fine. No, can't see it. Got everything everywhere. I gotta do a project for my mother-in-law on this. I'm gonna make some nice writing. I gotta decide what fonts and what words to make what fonts and maybe some little swirly things to escalate some words and whatnot. It's always, it looks nice in the end, but when it's your own project and each piece that you made, you're so much more critiqueful because you know how you like sneakily slime to get every single thing the way that you wanted it. Nothing ever just like flowed nicely. People always like, oh, it looks really nice in the end, but to you, it's like shit. Didn't do that right at all. Could have made that so much nicer. I don't know if that's pride though. Yeah, I got a lot of different. You got to do like 5 different fonts. You got to like a couple different colors.
Here's the
Keywords
thing.
can all be the same for the most part.
Here's the thing. People don't want to know.
Yeah, it's the truth of it. Hey, and that's funny you say it like that because that's like a whole nother conversation. But it's funny how like people buy things and you drink out of cans without wiping them, and you don't want to know if there's been like a rat problem in that area for a while with those cans, or if they ever even got washed properly. People buy stuff all the time that's just barely passed inspections, and that particular piece shouldn't have. Recalls. And
Yeah.
pride is not always there.
Yeah.
And even if it's there in the workers, it might not be there in the upper ups. It's got to be there in everybody. Everybody's got to work together. It's the only way you move past things and move on. People got to work together, united. But Roe v. Wade that just took another division in the United States.
Yeah, that's a hard
We're
thing
now divided
too,
by
man.
states once again. I guess that the best plan would have been Roe v. Wade stays and we just ban abortion altogether. That would have been amazing. Not going to happen. So they thought this is the next best plan. Save a few. And the time being, we'll save a few.
Here's the thing, man.
I think it's just going to be in the next 6 years we're going to see more states with more like the bluer the blue and the redder the red. You won't see as much division. Those states, they're going to move. They're not going to want to live there.
That's a hard thing too. Like you even
They're trying to have
recommended
abortions
that,
every year.
like you recommended the fact that we actually divide, and you said that the family divided can't still, like who Jesus had to say, or Jesus had to say. But the fact is, sure for family, but this is a country. This is a nationality. This is a
He said a house. He didn't say family. He said a house. A house divided cannot stand.
sure, but still, this house means also nationality. And the fact is, because like you might say, no, it doesn't mean nationality, but it actually does. Because as soon as you actually move from Mexico into the United States, you're in a different family. You might be like, I'm sending my supplies back down to my. You're sending supplies back to the family that you birthed you, but you're not like a part of that family anymore. You're gaining material, you're gaining resources from this new family to send to your old family. That's how it goes. It's a sad cut from reality, but that's the way reality works. You're like, oh, I found this person that's going to give me $30 an hour to like wash their windows, right? Okay, cool. But I gotta go all the way over here to do this, and I'm nowhere near you. Okay, well, that's great. Do what you can and all that. You're not connected to that person anymore. You're disconnected to that person. The only thing that you actually have for that person is the money they're sending you. That's it. The money. You're not connected to that person anymore, are you? Can you talk to them and feel them, be a part of them? No, it's money.
On Discord, and Skype, and WhatsApp, and
Sure, but it's just money. It's not like you're like touching them and being part of their lives anymore. You're just.
come on.
I'm just
Life
saying,
goes
like,
to
is
VR
it?
every year.
The fact is,
Besides, her family's all doing better than we are, so they can send us money.
maybe. I'm just saying, like, yeah, it's a difference
Yes,
of
maybe.
reality. It's difference of reality. This is what we're. This is where we are at, and it just
Reality.
yeah, reality. As far as like,
We're not even at morality yet. We're at reality.
that's the whole point. Like we're so fundamentally fundamentally fundamental. Put those two words together and we'll get where we need to go. Fundamental to where we need to be, right?
Then we need to go back to the fundamentals.
Right. Fundamental. I can't even do
Okay. I think after jamming my pinky years ago when I was a kid, it's like finally catching up to me now.
This is where we were meant to be, man. As stupid and ridiculous as it is, fundamental.
Oh, I'm gonna get to bed.
You thought this was supposed to be a comedy sketch, but it's actually reality. Fundamental. It was supposed to be about. It was fun and dimensional. To be like, hey, it's normal. You know, but jeez. Oh, I'm glad I have enough beer. And listen.
I can't believe Rumpelstiltskin said his own name. What a dumbass. He should have known she was going to be desperate. It was like the last night.
Rumpelstiltskin? Exactly. Yes.
Just saying.
That's the point.
Like the
Once you know the devil's name,
the
you
first
can just put him
first
down.
Disney concept, I think. Just the idea of like everything, the woman can do everything wrong, making horrible choices, and then at the very last second, she gets lucky and everything's fine.
Yeah.
I
And you find out demon's name and Rumpelstiltskin. You know, that's one of the worst. That's one of the most demonstrably horrible names to actually say to somebody. Rumpelstiltskin. I mean, it just sounds so bad. It's like
so bad.
why would you name somebody Rumpelstiltskin? Rumple. Here's the thing. Rumple means like you're like this cloth that sits on the ground.
Like not even. Yeah,
And
you're
it's
like rumpled up.
so horrible. It's rumpled up, and it's so fucking terrible. Still,
Rumple. You're rumple.
yeah, you rumple, and you're still, which means you're just this rumpled up piece of shit. Still, and your skin, which means you're just this shedded skin that nobody wants at all. So you're rumpled. And your skin is like 3 times the worst the things you could even possibly be. It's like, ooh, why would you
Probably
ever?
had eczema.
Yeah, you're completely full of eczema. Zits everywhere. You're completely red off your ass.
Ingrown hairs all over your body and stuff.
You got rumble, yeah, exactly. You got rumble hairs everywhere.
I'm
small.
Rumpelstiltskin. Would you possibly be
Like if Yoda was crossed with a
mine?
pedophile.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah, exactly. You Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstiltskin. That's my name.
Would you actually be that kind of? I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, I thought, but I didn't really think about that. But now that I think about
And then
it,
she fell asleep easy that night because she knew what his name was. And she woke up the next morning and was like, shit, what was his name? I knew I should have wrote that down. Damn it, damn it, damn it.
Silkskin
Damn it,
something?
damn it.
Yes. You're the Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelsulkerbox.
Sulkerbox. You have the boxers of a sulk and something else? Rumbles? Your rumbles
I'm
are
going to bed.
sulking
For-
my box or sulking some other
For real
boxes?
this time I'm going to bed. I'm out. I'm tired. Let's say our final knowledge here.
Okay.
It's almost call it at 3.
It's
almost 3.
almost woke. Great. Call it a 3.
You got any other insightful advice you can give in the next 3 minutes or so?
Okay. 3 minutes. Society. No, I don't have any.
All right, well, me neither.
Okay.
Oh.
I'll have to say these 2 things before we go. But yeah, definitely everybody is influential as to what the world has to be. Number 2, everybody is influential as to what the world has to be. That's it. Yay!
I'll close with what I always like to say: be the light, keep it bright, keep on shining for everybody. Help them out. You're better than them, so you gotta remind them how to be better themselves. Better than everybody. You're better than everybody you meet because you know how to keep it bright. And while they're like, it's sad, I'm sad, you're like, yo, have a great day.
Exactly. Yeah, man. I totally agree with all that. I think the fact is that we have to be what you even say, the light the world would aspire to. And the fact is, there are just so many people, there's so many beings that wish to just comply without actually being themselves, without actually being who they are inside. I think, the one cool fact that I love you about Brad is that you don't fray from that. You don't, sway from that understanding.
Would I? I'd be confused if I did.
I
If I didn't say what was on my mind or honesty, like
I don't think that you would, but I think the fact is other people tuning in now, I think you keep that on the up and up.
yeah. Well, all right. I'm out. I'm gonna have a long trip tomorrow. Good night.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next week. Take care.